Our stream.
Oh yeah, that's what Bart was. Yeah, I didn't think that confused people, but I guess it did. It does.
Yeah, that's dumb. Okay, I think we're live.
Okay, sweet. I'm gonna pull it up on the computer here. I'm gonna drop the link real quick on Instagram for people.
Yeah, I'll do the same. But the thing is, when you drop link, you should use like something that like opens it in a browser, because otherwise they're not gonna watch it like in the Instagram platform, like locally on Instagram. They're not gonna watch that.
You should just use like the link.
There's like one called like Link Me or something. No, that's like Linktree. What's that thing called? I don't know. My coloring looks better. It looks the same, but thank you, bro. People just nitpicking anything. It's probably just like the overcast lighting. Cedo superior food. What's up, Arvin? Yo guys, what's up? 14 people in the chat. Let's go, dude.
Sweet.
I'm gonna edit this title to actually tag your channel properly instead of just have it there. Can I do that or no? Yes, I can. Good. Alright.
Okay, it's up on Insta.
Okay.
Sweet.
I'll just post
Are
it.
we ready for the debate? Just kidding.
Did you come prepared, Peyton?
I'm like actually like pooping my pants right now.
Did you hear that Enzo and EJ got married? But Enzo hasn't even bulked up to 200 yet. How did they get married?
That is.
Did they do window washing together? I swear they do. Dude, as soon as I post this, my girl's gonna get in the stream.
Every nigga.
So I have to wash my mouth. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just pulling it up here. I have a few like questions I want to ask about like the your Switch and everything.
Yeah,
But let's give it a sec. Let people come in.
for sure. Guys, if you guys have any questions in the chat before we start discussing stuff, just leave it. Thoughts on almond health, putting white sugar into pasteurized milk and drinking it? I think that's calm, honestly. If it's A2 milk, that's like not that bad. Like white sugar is not really different to honey. I think the whole raw honey thing is like complete gimmick. All the enzymes are just destroying your
It's
stomach
true.
acid.
It's true.
Like and the only minor thing would be like contaminants in white sugar, but I'm not even sure if there are many contaminants.
Yeah, like metals or I don't know.
Or like hexane and bleach, but I'm not sure if that's true.
Those are like
I was watching a
except for
video.
cereals. I don't know about.
I was watching a video on. It was just by the banana girl. I don't know if you know her. She's like a sugar, like complete
Yeah.
sugar diet. Like her whole diet is just sugar, basically.
They're like frugivore girl.
Yeah, frugivore, but not like fruitarian. And
Okay.
so it's a little better, but still. She made a video on white sugar, and I was watching it. Like white sugar is so pure, and I'm like, yeah, I think people exaggerate the danger with white
Oh
sugar.
yeah.
But
What do you think about so Nico? Like he posted a video drinking a Coke, and I was like, it's diabolical to be like drinking a Coke in the video, and he's like, well, it's made with just cane sugar, it's just white sugar. So, and like, what do you like? Are you drinking Cokes now?
no, I think his point is valid, but the issue with Coke is like the flavorings and the colorings. Like they all, even if it's made with cane sugar, like Coke Classic Mexican Cola, it's gonna have caramel color. It's gonna have artificial flavor. It's gonna have caffeine in it.
Yeah, he said the caramel color is not a problem in small amounts.
Yeah, but it's
But like,
like everything in moderation, right? Like it's not optimal. You don't promote it to someone who's dealing with health problems. Drink it behind the scenes. Show it like, oh, this is not optimal. But like I don't care if he drinks it. Honestly, like it doesn't hurt his authority because he drinks it. Like that's something that I don't believe in. That's really stupid.
sure.
But if he just like brushes off things as like reasons to not have it as just like, oh, it's small amounts, you know, like, I don't respect that.
I just feel so bad. Like, I don't know. Drinking a Coke just like crashes my energy levels. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like when I'm strict carnivore either. Just like, I mean, have you had like a soda and felt like good afterwards?
The last time I had soda was Mexican cola when I was on holidays, just because I wanted to try it. So it was
Right,
literally just pretty sure filtered water, cane sugar, caffeine, and caramel color.
right, right.
I felt fine, but
Yeah.
oh, I did feel shaky actually from the caffeine. But other than that, it was fine. I think it just like one time is not gonna have a huge effect on your gut. It's just like if that's a regular thing, that's not really something that I think you should be doing.
I guess it's how quick you drink it too. Your blood sugar just skyrockets. So do you think that like all carbs are the same more or less, or like what's like the worst carbs?
The worst carbs in what sense?
Just in general, like if you had to make a carb tier list.
What do I do? Someone said, "Do you think alcohol's a nutrient?"
I mean, technically,
Did you see that video that Face like you made about alcohol? That was funny.
I didn't.
The people were saying alcohol's a nutrient. Like that's what he was saying, but as a joke. But yeah,
Huh.
that's funny. Um, the worst carb definitely some like polysaccharides and like any pure fructose, like high fructose corn syrup, for sure. That cultivates a lot of endotoxin in the gut and the liver probably as well.
Why
And
polysaccharides? That's like fiber, isn't it?
yeah, polysaccharides like fiber.
And
Um,
starch.
I'm not sure if it starch is a polysaccharide. I think starch is pretty benign, but it's like inferior to free
Well,
sugars.
polysaccharide is just a really long chain of glucose.
Yeah,
I'm
or
pretty sure
multiple
starch is
sugars. Yeah. Well, starch is made of
oligosaccharides.
mitose or something, like little mitose molecules, which are like two glucose molecules together.
Oh,
Maltose. Yeah, malt sugar is made of
maltose.
two glucose molecules, and then
Yes, it says starch is a polysaccharide.
okay.
I guess it maybe depends on what it is, but yeah, because it's pretty long, really slow digesting.
I think fermentable
But
sugars
see,
like
uh,
like sorbitol are
to me,
pretty
it just
bad.
all seems the same because I mean, it's all fundamentally the same in your body, right? Because it's all breaking down to glucose.
Well,
I just don't see why
if we're
people.
talking about like pure glucose molecules and like whatever like long chains of it, then yeah. But I think if we're talking about like sorbitol, like fermentable sugars in the gut, pure fructose, that's a different story, right?
Right.
What do you think is the worst carb?
Um, it's really just like kind of. I think the only thing that varies between like carb sources by itself is just how quickly it absorbs. So I think like sodas is the worst because you're not supposed to drink that many calories. Like I don't know. Like when would you ever be drinking calories? Do you know what I mean? That seems kind of ridiculous. Like
Well,
50
I,
grams of sugar.
I think
How much
that you
fruit would you have
should.
to eat?
Well, I think that like there's a difference outside of just how quickly it absorbs because there are different types of sugars other than glucose. Like if we're talking about sucrose, that's 50% fructose. If we're talking about fruit sugar, the free sugars in like fruit, that's 50% fructose most of the time. There's honey, which is like 60% fructose. High fructose corn syrup, which is like 80% fructose. Like there are different types there's more than just like how quickly it absorbs. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah, I guess you're right in that. Yeah, fructose versus glucose.
Mm.
But fructose still converts into glucose, so
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but the absorption of it is different based on the ratio.
yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe like what was like your story? When did you move from first like what kind of got you moving from carnivore and like I don't know, how would you describe that transition? What prompted it?
Well, I was feeling quite cold, like actually hypothermic in the morning, in some mornings, and this was in autumn, so it was still like 21, 22, 23 degrees during the day,
Hmm.
Celsius. That's probably like a normal. Where do you live in like Northern America, like northern parts of the
Yeah,
US?
I'm like northern America.
Okay,
So like the top of the United States, like
then that
Idaho.
would be like summer for you. So it was like summer weather for you. And I was like
Yeah.
hypothermic in the morning, like properly shivering, fully clothed. And
Right.
that didn't push me away from carnivore. That was just one thing that I experienced. What I was, it was literally, it was probably that chat we had with the big Q, and he was talking about
Mhm.
scarcity versus thriving, like, and I was starting to think like imitating what we have in nature is not always going to be the best thing, right? Because there was like scarcity of meat as well. There was scarcity of warmth. There was scarcity of everything, like scarcity of safety, things like this that we wouldn't want to imitate. So why do we want to exclusively imitate that? And then I got into the research a little bit more, seeing like, oh, if you look at nitrogen isotopes, 20% of that protein was consistently coming from tubers, like estimated, like on average 20%. And then like whether that's starvation food or that was, what we
Wait,
actually wanted
20%
to.
of the tuber? I haven't seen that. That
Okay.
seems like a lot of protein from plants.
Yeah, I
Kind of,
mean,
I mean, that'd just be hard to with those roots they're eating, maybe.
and
But okay,
there are also a lot of like examples of people eating grains even pre-agriculturally. Not that I think grains are good, but
sure.
then also
I mean,
like
smaller amounts for sure.
not even smaller amounts, but like I've seen people have like 80% of their diet at times. Like 120 years ago, 120,000 years ago, I saw like a pretty sure it was like a collagen collagen study, collagen testing.
Okay.
It was like literally like 80% of their diet was like starch from grains and tubers. I can pull it up. It was like in Morocco. Uh,
Okay.
and then I also like in the tropics, you were talking about how the monkey orange doesn't grow in Africa, the soursop, whatever it was. I don't
Well,
know, like the
it
big
does.
fruit.
It's seasonal.
It's seasonal, and then the other big
But
fruit doesn't
the
grow in
soursop
Africa.
South America.
Yeah. Well,
I was so the jungle sop. So
jungle
jungle
sop.
sop
Yeah.
does, soursop doesn't, monkey fruit does. But again, these are all seasonal fruits.
Yeah, like I don't know why he would mention those fruits when there are things like the African bush mango. Um, let me wait. Hold on. There are these fruits that I have that are tropical and like untapped with and like in in Africa. So there's like the white vine fruit. I'm pretty sure like white rubber vine fruit and the utu. Like these are like proper sweet fruits. Let me see if I can pull up the names.
This kid is spamming in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute him
Thank you.
if it lets me. Yes. Why does Sudor eat blueberries if carbs are bad? Well, blueberries are quite low in carbs. But yeah,
Yeah, you
again,
can eat
like
like 200 blueberries for like 40 or 60 grams of carbs.
But yeah, why do you do that, Peyton? That's interesting.
Because I mean, that's absolutely an indicated level of carb consumption. I mean, again, that's like, I've never said, oh, carbs are like not, we're not meant to eat carbs. We're not, like, carbs are just bad, absolutely. It's the amount, it's always been, hey, a high carb diet has always been unrealistic for humans for like 2 million years. And I think that we've had significant adaptations in that time uh, so that we're not um, as efficient with that. So, for instance, like, how so many people struggle with willpower, right? And like, not eating sugar is very difficult to do for like most people.
Mm.
And I think like that willpower, we never had to have it because we always ate whatever was available to us. And so people now overeat, but what they're overeating is just sugar. They're not overeating fats and protein. And I think it just goes to show how scarce sugar was. It wasn't just, we would eat it when it was available, but now it's just constantly available. So I think that for a lot of people, like the first step to getting healthier is just like cutting back carbs, and then suddenly, oh, you're losing weight, you're becoming more insulin sensitive. Um, I think even if you think carbs are good, like the first step to repairing your metabolism, say you're like 40 years old, going carnivore can be really good for your health. And then say you want to introduce fruits and stuff again, that's on you. But like, do you think that like carnivore could still be like a therapeutic protocol in cases? Or you just think it's like
I
totally
think
bad?
in certain cases it could be, yeah. But I think that okay, let me ask you something. What makes you think that because we never had to like mitigate our carbs, what makes you think that that's like a good thing? Like why would it be like if we would choose to have more if we could and we did choose to have more and now we can, why is that a bad thing? Because it's not as if like everything in nature is just like what's not touched by humans, and then if humans do something that's not natural, that's like a reductionist view
Right,
of
right, right.
nature, right? I think you understand that.
So you're saying like why strictly imitate nature given that it was scarce, that carbohydrates were scarce, right?
Well, it's not like it's. I'm not talking about nature versus modern. I'm talking about like overall. There's nature. Why would you imitate like just a scarce time in human history rather than like oh this was
Okay.
nature, this is like not nature, because that's ridiculous in my opinion. Why would you imitate like that scarce time rather than what we intuitively want? Like now we have
Sure,
these
sure.
sweet fruits so we can eat. Even we did in the tropics, but not for a long time after that. So
Well, again, it's like I think there's a fundamental disagreement there because I think that, you know, 90% plus of the time we're consuming a very low amount of carbohydrates. I think that we were predominantly I mean, we were fat oxidation heavy and producing ketones probably for most of our life. I mean, so if we can disagree there, but that's kind of like the base of my kind of my viewpoint. And then, going from there, I think that like, basically every single metabolic issue stems from carbohydrate overconsumption. And you can say it's just eating too much fat because it is combining macronutrients was the issue. But every single time you could just cut carbs out and those symptoms get better. But so like people have an issue regulating carbs. It's particularly dopaminergic, right? You not That's not the same with fat or protein. They still are dopaminergic to a degree, but carbs are uniquely addicting even. That's why sugar is in everything, that like all the junk food and everything, as well as other things. But
yeah, it's a nutrient.
I think that is it's
It's a nutrient
the only
that's
non-essential nutrient.
that is like easily recognizable by our senses, like quickly recognizable by our senses,
Sure.
more so than anything.
But think about like humans love sex, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens if we, give it artificial overabundance? Oh, pornography. Oh, you kind of are. It's become self-harmful. You know what I mean? It's kind of an example of like something that we've dysregulated
I don't
that
think
we don't have
pornography
a
is
natural
like, I don't
regulation
think
for.
pornography is like really anything similar to sex. It's just like completely different. It's because it's not
Well,
a human. It's not a human interaction. It's
the
literally it's like the most
same.
superficial part of it. Only like you're imitating it, but it's not actually an overabundance of sex. Because if you have an abundance of sex, you're not gonna watch porn. That's unless you're like really mentally ill.
Well,
But
some people, yeah,
but if you would have like for a normal healthy person, someone like getting sex would help them. Like they would stop porn if they would have sex. Like if they would have like regular sex,
yeah.
they would stop watching
I
porn.
that's probably true. Yeah,
Yeah,
but again, it's just a it's I'm not trying to get focused on that. Every example has its limitations, but
yeah, of
I'm
course.
just talking about something that's dysregulated. We have an intuition, and it's important to listen to our intuition, but our intuition is designed for a natural world, and I keep trying to explain this to people, but it's like we have an artificial world full of artificial distractions and all these things that we created. So why do we think our intuition is going to be right about you know pornography or like whether I should be drinking a soda or I mean every time you're eating fruit in nature, even if it's absolutely true that like we had a lot more access to carbs, it was always with a lot of fiber. It was always I mean how many like fruits do you have to eat to get like one Coke of sugar? You do eat like several apples or no, apples aren't even I mean blueberries like 200 blueberries is 60 carbs, that's like a can of cola. So I don't know, it's just the dysregulation that's the issue.
I don't think the line is. Yeah, I understand this like problem with intuition and like listening to it always because there's artificial things and like things that we haven't been adapted to for a long time. But I don't think that the line can be drawn at like cultivated fruits. I don't think that's where you can draw the line at like where our intuition doesn't matter because we've had these sweet fruits before in the tropics, right? And then
Sure.
okay, let's just put a hold on that point for a sec because I had something I wanted to interject with before. So
All right.
you saying we should because we haven't been exposed to this for very long, like we haven't been exposed to like high carb diets for a long time. That's what we're adapted to, right?
Right.
Okay, so like, do you believe in the out of Africa theory? Because honestly, it's not very important to me, but it's something I'm gonna use to argue this.
Like that we all came from Africa.
Yeah, and then we migrated to Europe like around 45 thousand
I
years
think
ago.
so, but there is a little bit of evidence about like Asia and like what's it called? Some early hominid. Um,
Mm.
but
But like
generally, yeah, a
equatorial
lot of us came
regions,
from.
equatorial
Sure,
regions,
sure.
yeah.
I believe so. But there are certain hominids that were like especially adapted to cold, high altitude. I'm blanking on the name. It was like Australopithecus or some kind of earlier human
Okay,
that
but
was
Homo
cold.
sapiens.
Denisovans or something. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but Homo sapiens, right? So like
Yeah.
something that I came across is like the majority of the amylase, the AMY1 gene copies in Homo sapiens, like the biggest surge started about 40,000 years ago, that's seen. Um,
Okay.
and that's like a similar time to as like to where most of our species was like entering temperate climates and like moving away from places with sweet fruits, lots of availability of like honey and stuff, right? Like the honey availability is undeniable because like the Hadza, Tanzania, they have a large portion of their diet comes from honey, like all year round. Even if we're not,
Sure, sure.
even if we can't like agree on fruits being available year round, even in the tropics, like there's honey. So that's like a
The
significant portion of the diet.
like yeah, the
And
Hadza. I mean, they also men are averaging 5'3", and they have a much higher rate of tooth decay than humans ever did. Pre-agriculture,
I
so
don't
they're
know.
kind of a modern.
I'm just
They're not a
talking
great
about
example
the
of like.
environmental availability, not saying that the hards are optimally healthy or anything. But
Sure, okay,
um, so there's honey and fruits available in the tropics. We move out of the tropics to temperate regions. There aren't as many sweet fruits around. There are a bit of crab apples and whatnot, berries, some like low sugar berries, right? And it's seasonal availability, and then that's where we start to see a lot of AM1Y, AMY1. These gene names like
Right, right,
confuse me. But
right.
yeah, a lot of amylase copies start then. That's showing like a significant surge in like starch consumption, right? So like tubers, maybe some grains, rarely, and like that, things like that. So that's kind of was that what like it's hard to know, was that starvation and desperation, or was that a an adaptation of positive selection to be able to maintain our carbohydrate intake that we had from the tropics? Because
Oh, so
obviously the carb intake from fruits and honey that is available in the temperate regions that we move to would be less than in the tropics. So we would need to theoretically find another source for that. It seems like there's a positive selection for us being able to maintain that intake because of the amylase copies. And this is
so
pre-agricultural
that
as
would,
well.
but like more copies of that gene would help you like make the most out of the carbs that get available. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, more prevalence of amylase would like help you to maintain your carbohydrate intake. Like someone who's consuming tubers without a lot of amylase is not going to be able to intake
So
a
they're
lot of
not digesting
carbs.
it effectively.
Yeah, not digested effectively, they're going to have problems, and they're also not going to absorb it as much. So they're not going to benefit from it.
Okay.
Theoretically, not theoretically benefit.
I don't know much about the timeline there. That's interesting. Because yeah, I would assume that an amylase adaptation would be an adaptation to starch or whatever.
Mm.
But I have not. I've literally seen zero about that. So,
Okay, that's fine.
um,
That's
but
just a lot of that's just a big like that's very convincing to me of like a positive selection to maintain carb intake.
sure.
Just that correlation of migration, and then there's less availability. We need to find other sources, and then
So
enters like lactase persistence as well into that, right? So if we think about like lactase persistence as an adaptation to
is
just
that
be
the
able
same
to
time?
have. Hmm?
Is that the same time lactase persistence as the amylase gene?
No. So that's around like
That's much more recent.
agriculture revolution.
Yeah. Okay.
So then so lactase persistence started popping up obviously as we started consuming milk, but it didn't get like very significant until the Bronze Age. So about like 3,000 years ago. And this is weird because we were consuming milk before that. The thing is, we just didn't have the tools to keep it fresh, right? And we just consumed it as cheese, yogurt, things like that, right? Butter, maybe. We consumed it without the sugar most of the time. So there wasn't much need to have the lactase persistence because we weren't going to be able to get the sugar anyway.
Hmm.
So why, if the product is more optimal for health, and it's better for our survival and better for our species to consume dairy without the sugar, then why, when we had the tools to keep it fresh for long enough to maintain that sugar, why did we have that selection for lactase persistence? Because it seems like another example of a positive selection to be able to consume carbs.
Well, I mean, I think you know, like the way I've seen it, lactase persistence, if it is something that's passed down generation to generation, it's likely from Europeans who relied on milk and dairy for sustenance and
Yeah,
periods of low, crops and whatever.
yeah.
So I could see why, that would, but there's also an idea that it's just because you eat more milk, if you just, because it's also the time that we started drinking more milk. So there's people that think the idea is that, oh, if you just keep drinking milk, you'll make your body produce more of that enzyme, which I also find interesting. So,
Mm.
um, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand your point. So your point is like it was just another source of food because scarcity of
Right.
meat when we have mostly crops and stuff.
But so like, we have one gene or enzyme upregulation with salivary amylase, or just amylase in general, 40,000 years ago. But, the like we've been around for what, 2 million years? So do you think that the carb consumption, you're saying that like our carb consumption lowered at 40,000 years, not increased.
Uh,
You're saying that
no, I think that
that was fluctuating.
our starch consumption increased, but I think that we were like um pressured to find other sources of carbs to maintain that intake. I'm not sure if
So,
it lowered or increased. Like I'm just saying, it seems like we had
I mean,
to have pressure to maintain it.
I would think that like 40,000 years ago, I would just to me that would seem more likely that carb consumption increased. Because wouldn't the Earth be warming up again at that period?
Yeah, but it was like to do with migration as well. Like we moved to colder climates, there were less availability of fruits.
Sure. So what do you think like the ideal like macros like range are? Do you like would you just, agree with the Frost calculator full on or what's your take on that?
I think that's pretty good actually, but I don't know. Like it depends for everyone, right? Like activity level, like what they're trying to do. If they're trying to lose body fat, and you go a little bit less fat. Um, if they're trying to gain body fat, go a little bit higher fat. Um, with the I think when you're metabolically healthy and you're insulin sensitive, then adding more carbs to fat um, is not going to make you put on weight, right? Like the overall macronutrients would, but if you're adding more carbs than fat, or like let's say like in your opinion, because of the Reynolds cycle in that competition, if you were to have like 180 protein, 180 fat, okay, let's say 180 protein, 160 fat, 20 carbs, you would be able to maintain like healthier metabolism, healthier body weight on that compared to like 180 protein, then like equal carbs and fats, but like the same overall total
Yeah,
macronutrients.
you'd be more effective at I mean, in the same way you're talking about enzyme upregulation, for the same it's the same reason why the Randall cycle is important because you want um, the most enzymes to oxidize whatever you're consuming predominantly. You don't want to be kind of making your body switch and force it back. It's kind of like that the law of inertia. It's like whatever you're oxidizing and like whatever enzymes you're producing, you're gonna continue to.
Yeah,
So like I think
but
that
that works with
generally you want to
anything,
lean
right?
towards one.
Why would you want to
But well,
like go towards one though instead of have both?
because it's more efficient. Like if your body, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna produce enzymes for this and then stop doing that and then start trying to upregulate enzymes for this, because they're kind of, or instead you could just be burning hot. And so you know how like, say you look at these overfeeding studies, you feed more fat to somebody who's not eating very many carbs. Well, actually, there's not many studies like that. But someone who's eating like low fat, high carb, and you feed them more carbs, they're just going to be burning more fat. No, not more fat, more carbs. Their oxidation increases because they're being
Yeah,
fed more of it. And the same works for fat. You're fed more fat, and if they're burning fat, they're just going to keep burning more fat, and the rate's going to increase. So, like,
yeah.
I think
If you're eating more food
that's why the
overall,
Randall
yeah.
cycle is important. You want to be like burning the most you can, like the hottest. Um, and so,
Dude, Frost is making me laugh on every fucking comment. But bro, yeah, yeah. But one, like you said, it's more efficient to pick one. Like more efficient which way? Like with ATP production, is that what you meant?
I don't think that fiber is contraindicated. But sorry, what were you saying?
You said it's more efficient to have like one of those pathways optimized and the other one like
Well, yeah,
atrophied.
it's definitely more efficient to be consuming prominently one so that your body can just continue to oxidize it and have, a really robust immune system, not like down-regulated, if that makes sense. Whereas
Robust
you see
immune
like all these
system.
people that are so dysfunctional that are consuming like a no, not metabolism.
Okay, so what do you think happens to the metabolism if you consume both? Like
Well, it's just
what effects does that have?
it's not really compatible. You want to be. Um, I think I think it lowers your BMR.
You
You
think?
know,
Do you
yeah.
think? How do you
Well,
know?
it does because if we look at trials feeding, you know, one substrate to somebody with low, so high carb, low fat, then they're going to be burning more carbs and raising their BMR. Or if you feed them a bunch more fat, lower the carbs, it could be the same calories, but suddenly their BMR goes down, and they're not burning as hot, or their metabolism's not firing as strongly. They're becoming more metabolically impaired, and more likely to store fat and whatnot.
Okay,
If that makes sense.
wait. It sounded like you just contradicted your point. Can you repeat that? I don't think I heard you properly. Sorry.
Um,
Just like
People
simplify it
consuming a
without the
mixed diet.
analogy.
Yeah. People consuming a mixed diet, poor metabolism, lower BMR. People consuming a diet that is leaning towards one macronutrient will be burning hotter. Their mitochondria will be producing more enzymes for that one substrate, and they will be, yeah, just generally, like you want to be burning the most calories at rest,
Okay, I understand
generally,
your
and you want.
hypothesis. Yeah. What makes you think that the BMI is like changed? Like that it's lower when
So
you have a mixed diet.
if someone's burning fat and you feed them more fat, they're going to keep burning more fat. And the same works with carbs. And there's trials, feeding trials that show this. Um, so, if you feed somebody who's burning a lot of carbs fat, then they have to, backpedal that. Now we're having to start burning fat. And it's not as efficient, and it's basically results in less calories burned at rest, and you have to I think you're lowering your BMR implicitly, because if raising one substrate increases BMR, then you know mixing them would lower it, if that makes sense. uh,
I understand the theory, but I don't think that's actually like. Can you actually prove that that's actually affecting the BMR in that way? Because I understand like the theory of the renal cycles, your ATP production is slowed, but that's not actually shown in any experiment, as far as I know.
okay, no, I mean like feeding trials, so I don't have the I could pull these up here, but like, do you agree that, like, when you look at feeding trials where they they overfeed someone with carbs, and they burn more carbs as a result, instead of storing it?
If you
Do you
if you overfeed someone carbs, they burn more carbs than storing it. This is without fat
Yeah, rather
present.
than storing it, with some fat present, but predominantly carbs, high carb.
So if you overfeed someone
Y-
carbs, they will burn more carbs rather than storing it.
Yeah, so if you're burning carbs and you feed that person more carbs, then they're gonna burn more carbs. That's this is like well demonstrated. I thought that, like,
Yeah, yeah,
a
okay, I
lot of
got
like
you. I just
people
didn't, yeah, I
predominantly
just
speak
didn't see
also
the point.
that.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
same works with fat. The problem is when you're burning fat and carbs at the same time, you're gonna always be preferencing uh, glucose generally. You know what I mean? Um, so you're just that's why carb overfeeding works better in a mixed diet, because you're burning carbs. Um, but so I know this. I think we're kind of in the weeds on this one. Unless you want to, we
I
can
don't think
switch.
the BMR is actually slowed though. That's what you're saying, right? The BMR is slowed when you have mixed diet.
Right.
And the feeding trials measure the BMR and measure the ATP production or no? And body temperature and stuff like that.
Well, I'm talking about like the amount of the substrate that you burned, like, without gaining weight. So you're burning it instead of storing it, so that implies a raised BMR, a bit metabolic rate. So you're burning more, um, but that only works if you're fed more of whatever you're burning, not because your tissues are predominantly going to be burning one or the other.
Well, it depends which tissue. Like the heart is usually burning fat at rest. The muscles usually burn fat at rest. The blood cells oxidize
It widely
glucose.
depends on what you're intaking. Um, but like muscles, for instance, that's a large amount of, you know, they're very metabolically active, and they're generally all, preferring one or the other.
Yeah, like
But if you look at,
usually even on a mixed diet, like as far as I know, under the VO2 max of 80%, the muscles will be burning fat. Same with the heart. And then
I don't know all
during
the,
intense exercise, then they'll burn glucose. The brain is predominantly burning glucose and ketones at the same time, and then the ball's burn.
Not if you're not producing ketones, right?
Well, you're always producing some amount of ketones because a lot of
Okay.
parts of your body need ketones still, and the kidneys are going to be burning glucose. The liver is usually going to be burning glucose, unless you're in a really like glucose starved state, like then you're going to be burning ketones predominantly for that. But on a mixed diet, like there are differences still. It's not like you're not going to burn like it's not like if you're eating glucose and fat, none of the tissues are going to be predominantly burning fat, and they're all going to be predominantly
Also,
burning
people
glucose.
like idiots online keep repeating this, like, oh, you can only burn one or the other, and it's just ridiculous. But it's kind of like what you just said, like, oh, your brain's always burning glucose and ketones, but like, you know, at a normal mixed diet, that's a very small amount of ketones, but it is technically correct because you're always you're never just burning one or the other.
Yeah.
But people need to understand the nuance here about enzymes and just it's so much different than people think it is. Um, Fortunately, I've had somebody to explain this to me though, like one on one, a little better
Okay.
than
Okay.
most people.
All right. All right. That's fine.
Um,
Um, I mean, like, what do you think about the people who okay, let me just say what I think. So I think that most of the keto arguments are very like isolated arguments trying to infer overall presentation on people, which they can't do like Eddie says, like extrapolating the micro to the macro. I think a lot of his arguments as well are doing that, ironically. And generally people on keto diets will present better than most people because it's a better diet than like carnivore diet. They present better than most people because it's like better diet than average. But I think they present worse consistently than optimally healthy. Like
okay.
it's worse than people who eat like a so-called ancestral diet, including carbs, not restricting one macronutrient, and just eating intuitively.
Um, do you deny that there are benefits to keto?
I think, well, benefits to keto um, not necessarily, like in some cases maybe, but I think it's like more
Yeah,
nuanced
so
than.
you're agreeing in some cases because it's very clear that there's benefits to keto.
Okay, well
I think it's funny when
let's
people
talk
change
let's
it
talk
to
about let's talk about that. Like what would you say
okay.
is one benefit to keto?
Well, so I wrote a paper on this. I did a presentation in uni, but about um, children with drug-resistant epilepsy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's cool because in hospitals, they'll actually prescribe kids. They'll put them on keto diets and reduces seizures like way better than the medication could. And the mechanism behind it is suspected to be because of the inhibitory signaling that ketosis promotes, which is also why it helps me with my anxiety a lot.
Yeah.
I feel much more clear and alert and attentive, and I believe it's because it's GABAergic. It's helping. It's GABA is like the same
I
pathway that like
understand. Yeah.
benzos
That,
work on.
yeah.
But I
I
think
know what
that's like
GABA is. Yeah.
a huge benefit for mental health. And also, but it's also the same mechanism that helps kids with seizures.
I think I've heard that before. I don't know much about the literature on that, but I've also heard that it's confounded by endotoxin production a lot in the gut and in the liver.
Yeah, so Frost was saying that, but it's crap because you can also give someone a medication that replicates it, just mechanistically, and that also works. You
Okay.
put somebody on that's promoting inhibitory signaling, that's doing the same thing in the brain. I mean, the mechanism's clear, and it's silly to
I
deny
mean,
that there are
yeah,
better
like
properties for it.
if you have people with epilepsy and you prescribe them pregabalin, that will have a similar effect.
Pregabalin, gabapentin,
Yeah.
they don't directly, they indirectly affect GABA, but it's the same
Yeah.
sort of
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Fair enough then. Yeah, I can grant that
I, yeah.
there are benefits to keto. Where were we going before that? Forgot.
Oh, we're just talking about any benefits to keto. Um, But I'm glad that you can see that there's some that you concede that because it's silly not to.
Yeah.
People, it's like so black and white for so many people. Like I can only believe in this or that.
No, I don't think it's that simple. I mean, for unhealthy people, sometimes you have to do medicinal interventions. But I don't think that, being toasted a lot of the time is okay, so we were talking about like the presentation of people, like the overall presentation of people on keto diets. What do you think about like there are a lot of examples of people on carnivore having bad sleep, having, low body temperature, having cold hands and feet, having bad like apparently like presumably bad thyroid panels, high SHBG, low free testosterone, things like that.
Sure. Again, I haven't seen it personally, but I can't discredit people's anecdotes.
Mm.
The thing is, like, in order for me to sit here and make any claim about anybody's experience, I'd have to have their case file in front of me and see what they're eating
Oh,
and
but
see
yeah,
what,
well, I'm
like,
not asking you to make a claim about their experience. I'm just asking your opinion on that, like, because I do think that a lot of
yeah.
the arguments for keto, or like carnivore, are like micro mechanisms compared to like macro presentations, like macro health effects. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I think that's funny because I think the biggest thing that affects your metabolism is carbohydrate consumption. I mean, your entire physiology changes when you introduce carbs, and I think that's the whole reason why, like the carnivore physiology is what you're pursuing, not like this, like, oh, let's be carnivores. It's like you want to copy the carnivore physiology, which is low carbohydrate, increased mitochondrial density, efficiency, ATP production, um, skeletal muscle density. Um, I think there's like, yeah. So just the physiology. What were you saying? What were you asking?
Oh, I was just asking your opinion, like why people might be presenting with this.
Oh, yeah. There's different reasons. I mean, people obviously the first thing people jump to is low thyroid. Um, the panels I've seen, like again, some Frost said he's seen otherwise, but I haven't observed a thyroid panel that's low T3 that isn't, you know, a normal TSH.
Mm,
So, like, you can Google this right now. Fat oxidation requires less T3. This is not something that's debated.
I
This
know.
is like, yeah,
I understand. Yeah, I
less.
get
So
that.
you look at lower T3 and then you think, oh, bad thyroid, but you look at TSH and but so I think most of the time it's nothing to do with thyroid. I think that generally it's because, people's satiety signals are hijacked on a junk food diet.
Mm,
So if you're moving to carnivore or low carb, generally it can be kind of hard to start feeling hungry again, without like the blood sugar fluctuations and without the super hyperpalatability of carbs and stuff. But after a while, and also stimulant use. A lot of people are stacking carnivore with caffeine, with
yeah. Frost. Yeah. Let's hop on. Frost thinks he can moderate the conversation, keep it on track. So, I think we should add him. Let's join the group. Yeah. Yo, yo. It's good, bro. It's good.
clearly.
I'm on team alcohol. So
Dude,
underdog in this fight.
someone in my chat said, "Why did you let Dar face like you?" Like
Yeah,
what?
don't ladar me, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I let Dar you.
Well, I'll let you guys talk first. I was just curious. So, what is it coming down to mechanisms or like anthropology or what's helping you guys
Well,
kind of, what's the bottom of it?
we were talking about anthropology before, and then
Okay.
I kind of showed him like my theory on like migration and like that positive selection to maintain carb intake with starches as opposed to fruits, and then he kind of just said like, well, I don't really know about that. Like I'm not knowledgeable enough to talk about that. So
Well, I
when I
could
was
help
like,
you guys with like epistemology. So, would you guys agree? Like, are you guys kind of like me and Eddie, where you think kind of whatever? No, never mind. Do you guys agree that the anthropology is what's ideal, or what?
like exactly
Uh,
what we were eating.
Yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily, but I think it's like a good
it's a good
representation.
place to start.
Okay. Hmm. So what would,
It's way better than
let's
trying to
say,
look at epidemiology.
Yeah,
yeah, okay, I agree. I think we'd all agree, and
for
again, I
sure.
won't yap too much, but maybe it could help and like point it in the right direction. So let's say we knew humans ate some level of carbs, fats, and proteins. The carbs are probably tubers or fruits for the most part, or honey.
Right.
Hmm.
So where then would each of you value? How do we go? Like, do we go to high carb or low carb? Like, what do you value beyond that?
I think that it's like I haven't really thought about that, like the balance of like how much you should have based on the availability. I haven't really
Because
thought
like,
about
let's say
that.
we ate 75 or 100 grams a day. You know, there could be inferences that maybe you should say we should do zero, or maybe we should do more, or maybe the same.
Yeah,
So I don't know, maybe because that's all it comes down to, right?
yeah.
So if we look at isotopes, which both you guys aren't a huge fan of, there is not another creature with the same nitrogen ratio with a high carb consumption. It just doesn't make any sense that you would be consuming that much meat and also so many. I mean, how much room does your belly have for all those roots? I mean, I was looking at these roots. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's like it is not exactly appetizing. I mean, they're not exactly calorically dense, you know. But I just think it's like
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmingly clear that predominantly it's always been low carb, you know. I mean, trying to make a high carb argument outside of some specific little island or region
One thing
is
is,
really
what would you
silly.
say is high? Like certain, like arbitrary, like where would you put it?
Yeah, higher is like a range above like above 100 is high,
Oh, okay.
or like
Mm.
100 to 200 is like maybe moderate high. Above 200 is like really high.
Okay, so if just theoretically, if a human kept on just drinking breast milk to fulfill their food, they'd be on a high carb diet. Like that would be the breast milk
Mm.
split.
An
And breast
adult
milk is
consuming
more carb than
milk is
fat.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing to consider is that the baby, you know, obviously is in ketosis that entire time. So that's those carbs are, you know, aren't there to keep them like out of ketosis because,
Well, yeah,
um,
neonatal ketosis is a little different though, because it can use like ketones and carbs, and it can use everything very rapidly. So it's a little different than
well, we
like
can use
being in
both at the same time
ketosis.
as well.
Yeah, it's a little different than like ketosis in the context of an adult. And like
Why would we
something,
be able to?
and also one thing I'd also look at, and then I'm all. Do you guys want me to like participate or just do you guys want like what do you?
We're
What's
just
the vibe?
talking, yeah.
We don't mind. We're just having a
Okay.
That's good.
discussion. Yeah.
Um. So I would say that like one thing to look at is that no other animal really is in ketosis. Not that that necessarily means we shouldn't be, but that was a huge
Dude,
carnivore myth. Is
cows
that
produce ketones.
dude? When cows are in ketosis, it's an illness. It's
Yeah,
literally
it's like
considered an
it's a
illness.
sickness. Yeah, it's like a sign that
Yeah,
they're very
like
unwell.
and then all the carnivores are in glucose metabolism because they eat lean animals and they have no ammonia issue like we do. They can detoxify like unlimited ammonia,
Mm.
so they can just eat a bunch of protein and be in glucose metabolism, which we can't be. Like lions are not in ketosis; they're in glucose oxidation. Like literally, no animal is in ketosis
Mm.
unless they're starving, which is true.
So you mean particularly ketosis, not producing ketones.
Sorry, what do you mean?
You mean ketosis, not like because they're all producing so you know, significant amounts of ketones.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'd like to see what you mean. Like a lion that eats, 500 grams of protein, they don't even eat that much fat. They're simply just in the same metabolic state as a human eating carbs,
Well, so
essentially.
even humans are producing ketones, but very small amount of humans. But like I'm saying,
Yeah,
cows,
but
you
I'm,
know, they're
I'm saying
producing all
overall, right? Like their brain is being fueled with glucose, not ketones, largely.
so uh, you know how like blood sugar tends to creep up on a carnivore diet,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's kind of observed over a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
I think the tissues become peripherally insulin resistant, so the glucose is being saved for the brain, like
Yeah.
because it
It's
will
like a
still need some
physiological
glucose.
adaptation to.
And then um, the glucagon is chronically elevated,
Mm, as
and
well as insulin.
then there's all these theories about how the red blood cells live shorter or longer, which could explain the A1C,
I haven't even
which I
seen
don't.
anything like that. The most I've seen is
There's
some
something
article
about.
about
Well,
being
one thing I'll give them
healthier.
the credit is that apparently the albumin or something uh, versus the A1C, the ratio of that indicates that perhaps the red blood cells are living longer in carnivore or
Mm,
something. So the A1C is a whole mess on carnivore, apparently, like trying to figure out the actual blood glucose damage glycation.
mm,
But yeah, glucagon is chronically elevated. It's just like when a
Okay,
bear is in
so
hibernation.
elevated glucagon,
Yeah.
right? And blood sugar's creeping up, but um, we take a lion who's producing a lot of glucose endogenously. Why do you think it's like implying it's like pathologic or stress physiologic in humans? But you're saying, oh, but carnivores have to, a true carnivore would produce lots of glucose endogenously.
Yeah, so the
So like,
huge difference is the amount of ammonia we can detoxify. So if you eat over 1.5 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight is about the range. Any more protein than that, you'll go into some protein oxidation, which the carnivores don't do typically, because their rate of gluconeogenesis is different. And then beyond that, you'll have a lot of ammonia that through the Krebs cycle cannot be detoxified. There's a limit to how much we can detoxify, and that's how you get
what's
protein
your,
poisoning.
what is this based on? Because I've never seen this anywhere.
I have a source. Let me find it.
yeah.
Okay.
First, what is your like?
Yeah.
Um. What? Why do you think humans start oxidizing protein, and like that
Well,
ammonia starts to get a problem?
okay,
Because from
so
what I've seen, it's only like
mhm.
three and a half grams per pound or like per kilo of body weight or something.
Yeah, so in one of my recent videos, I reviewed this pygmy guy, and he ate 700 grams of protein. That's when
Mm.
I did research into like the specific level.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it would be about 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight.
Okay.
Around there, there's protein oxidation going on already, and then anything more than the 1.5, we cannot even detoxify the ammonia byproduct from that
Okay.
protein.
Can you send it to the group chat?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to see that. We can
Again,
look
I
at
was
that on
just talking
stream.
with Claude, by the way, so maybe this research is
Uh,
flawed. This is possible.
Mm.
Good disclaimer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's valid.
I'm not
Still.
gonna go
Also,
over it right now.
wait. Also, to be fair, are you advocating that we should just be eating that much protein to try to be in glucose oxidation?
No, so a carnivore eating a 1-to-1 protein to fat diet will still have creeping blood sugar for years. I mean, it doesn't indefinitely do it, but it definitely takes a long time for it to creep up, as if compensating for a lifetime of eating it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that,
I think the point here would be my point, right? The true carnivores, which by the way, I feel like calling a human a carnivore is just kind of that's just like, bro, really? Like look at our physiology. But anyway,
So
the true
taxonomically
carnivores.
not, but well, according to dietarily, it's like a panda. They're
uh, But
taxonomically
again,
carnivora,
well
but they
there
eat
you're
like
making wait, hold on, because there you're making the assertion that we're certain how much of other foods we ate. So I thought it
okay,
was
yeah,
up in the air.
that's the basis, right? But you could say taxonomically one thing, but diet like we that's not carnivore isn't like one overall like label. It describes different things, if that makes sense, like a panda.
Wait, so it seems like yeah, so in this 2006 study, um anything beyond let's
You didn't
say
send it, bro.
what?
if you send it,
You
I'll
didn't
put it
send
on
it.
stream.
Yeah.
Be proud of your research, Cup.
Yes, they found in this study that it seems like that 1.5 grams per pound beyond that. Which again, this is only even relevant if you were going to concede that glucose oxidation is what a carnivore should be focused on, right? And then you would say we should get that through protein. That's what the only time it would be relevant to prove that this wouldn't be harmful. So even if, let's say, there is no harm for the amount of protein we eat in humans, would you then concede that we should be eating a ton of protein to beat
Again,
glucose oxidation?
I'll repeat it one more time. Carnivores eating a mixed fat and protein diet still have, elevated glucagon and blood sugar levels that are raising, which is independent of, protein, gluconeogenesis, whatever, So like you don't need to be eating 400 grams of protein, which I'm not saying we never did. I'm sure we had very lean meat at sometimes.
Wait, what
Even
are you
if we
trying to
ate a
get
lot
at there,
of
though?
carbs. Well, what?
So the blood sugar is, let's say, creeping up on a normal carnivore diet. What does that have? Where is it leading? I don't get it. I could
Because
be
you're
retarded.
producing more glucose. You're producing more and more glucose. It's like what you talk about with carnivores, oh, lifelong carnivores produce so much glucose. But if you switch to carnivore over weeks to months to years, your blood sugar is constantly elevating to that homeostatic set point that for some reason, it's pretty clear because you haven't been in that metabolic state for basically your entire life. But do you see what I'm saying? Like it takes a long time. Your blood sugar
Yeah,
elevating. It's not because you're just consuming a bunch of protein. That's not the only
yeah,
avenue
of
to.
course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but the point is, like, so essentially, no animal ever is, for its lifespan, typically fueling its brain mostly with ketones. That's what I'm getting at, right? So
Okay.
in that state, you'll be fueling your brain with ketones. You'll be in that insulin resistant state. Only really in hibernation of animals would you see the
Yeah.
metabolic state of like a normal carnivore diet. So my point is, do you think that, like, what indicates that that's optimal though?
So I
You
have a
know?
question. I'll
Yeah.
answer your question with a question.
Hmm.
What other animal hunts with spears?
Oh, so yeah, you just want to dispel like, yeah, sure, fine, fair enough, right? You could do the same thing
Right.
with cooking and
So how many
everything, right?
unique properties of this like highly carnivorous ape? You know
And
what I
then
mean?
you know where I'd bring that? I'd bring that to when you were saying what other animal with our
No,
protein or
absolutely. You're right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. But again, that alone, it's like the vitamin C thing. Well, there's plenty of primates that also don't produce vitamin C that are omnivores, herbivores. It's not just because they try to say, oh, we're not carnivores because we don't produce vitamin C, but there's a lot
Yes.
of it's a
So
subset
you'd agree that we
planet.
could be a species that hunted a bunch of animals, we ate as much meat as other species, but then we could uniquely also be a species that could harvest a bunch of carbs with it.
Sure, yeah, it's not logically
Yeah.
impossible. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
But I
think it
think it's
seems actually
just
very probable.
something to consider because how much meat are you eating in order to get that? When otherwise, if you're eating more carbs, you would just be because this doesn't make sense with your stomach capacity. You know what I mean? Like a
I'd say
substantial
honey
amount of
is
your diet
pretty
would have to be
efficient.
replaced with it. If you look at high carb tribes, they're often it's not like they're not consuming the carbs in addition to all of that protein. They're usually replacing some of it. Your stomach's only so big.
Yeah, I would say like honey, I mean, and you can eat throughout the day. Like carnivores are normally eating once or twice at most per day. Like there's plenty of time of you could be eating carbs as well. I don't know
But I'm
about
saying you're
that one.
raising like your caloric intake or your whatever like so much higher to get another. So you're getting all your protein in, right? And then you're trying to get 400 grams of carbs on there, and then just ignoring all the fat, and that's just a lot of intake. It doesn't kind of make sense to have that high of a. This is just my what I think,
Yeah.
but that it also is not observed, which is something to take into consideration.
Wait, I have a question. So when you're looking at carnivore, do you would you agree that do you think there are any concrete things that like show it's actually superior to eating some fruit?
What do you mean?
Like, is there any? Because like with Eddie, I was like, what's the
What's the
actual
harm
harm of eating
in a
a
mango?
mango
Yeah.
or a
Right,
fruit
so
when
it's
you're
like,
not in
what's the harm of
ketosis?
smoking one cigarette, or what's the harm of doing this thing one time? It's like
Mm.
nothing.
Well,
Well,
Nothing's
iris
gonna
those.
production, a
happen.
lot of
Well,
aldehydes you're taking.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not gonna
That
get
so.
cancer.
Like you
You
can't
know, that's
see
Well,
why.
like a health effect, but there is like actual mechanistic harm happening each time that's
Yeah.
compounding.
So my
What's the
mechanistic harm could be,
harm
oh,
that's
you're
compounding
raising
from
your
eating
blood
a
sugar.
mango compared to
Yeah,
not?
again, mechanistically, you could say, oh, you're raising your blood sugar, but is it actually going to do,
Is that harm?
oh, glycative damage? You know what I mean? But like the cigarette, we're also saying, oh, there's the mechanistic there, but that's the same, pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, where's the outcome? There's no
I
outcome
would
that's
say there's a
actually
few pieces that make those different, and like so, with cigarettes, we don't really see even a potential positive,
again.
right? So
So I
like,
can take any example. Don't like you're hyperfixating on one example, which it's just to draw a parallel. It's not to like because every example has its limitations. It's kind of silly. I'm not talking about cigarettes. We could say anything. Like, what's the harm of doing one thing that's bad for you one time? Probably nothing. Like, truthfully. But
yeah, but
it's
what we're
what's
getting at is what's the little piece that would contribute to harm overall? Even I'd accept that too.
Yeah.
It's not
it's
a,
what you
like
do every
okay,
day.
yeah, it's like fine. Let's say the mango, there would be no concrete harm from one mango, but I'd be like, what's going to be chipping at the statue of harm, right? Like what harm will build up over time of eating a mango per day?
Like yeah, if
Is
you eat a
kind of what we're
mango
getting
every
at.
single day
Nothing.
compared to not.
You'd be fine. That's the amount that I've always advocated for is like keep it low, keep it realistic, not like hundreds of grams of carbs because that's absolutely where issues appear
Okay,
with a mixed
well
diet.
what's
You
the
eat
harm? Like let's go like past your threshold. What's the harm of eating 150 grams of carbs a day?
150.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still much more reasonable, but I think that I mean, it depends on the person and what their state is and stuff. But like appetite dysregulation is a big one. Like for me personally, and I know a lot of the people, and actually Huberman, I know probably not all huge fans of Huberman, but he talked about how like the highest insulin spike or glucose spike during the day dictates your appetite for the rest of the day. And so the more sugar you're consuming, the hungrier you tend to be,
Okay.
and the more your blood sugar is fluctuating, you're going to have lower blood sugar. I
Okay.
mean,
Would you say
I
that?
could go far in.
Would you say that like when people are struggling to eat enough to have enough insulin to like just with protein and fat like that satiety is actually very very like almost too satiating, like people are struggling to eat enough food sometimes. Would you say that like
Right.
adding sugar, that's appetite dysregulation, that's a negative, or would it possibly be a positive, or could it be a neutral thing? Like why is that necessarily a negative if you're less
Yeah, it's
satiated?
just how you frame it, right? It's like
Yeah.
say I mean, again, here's a parallel that don't get mixed up. Let's say like you're addicted to cigarettes and you quit, right? And then you feel bad for weeks and months, and all it takes is not having another cigarette, and then all your symptoms cured. It's the same kind of thing. It's like, okay, we could frame it like the cigarette's curing it, or we could frame it that you're curing your addiction to that cigarette and your reliance on it, which you can with a long time not consuming carbs after over consuming them.
Well, a lot of people still can't get enough insulin from just eating meat and protein, meat and fat, like once a day. Like a lot of people can't get that, and it would actually probably not get better
I want
over
to
time just because of that peripheral insulin resistance.
I want
Enough
to offer the
insulin.
perspective. Also like having a low appetite. It's like also a sign of, not saying it is, but it is a sign of sickness. Like your dog has a low appetite. It's cold. It's actually very similar. It's into fat oxidation.
It's like
I
a
think
hibernative
stimulating the
state.
yeah, I think stimulating the appetite normally allows you to get more fuel in
Yeah.
and really raise your metabolism and your body temp. One thing I'll interject in, I think Marcus was saying something. There's lots of people. I watched this interview with Georgi Dinkov. A guy who was an ex-carnivore. He added in like 6 fruits per day, and he kept his meat and fat intake the same.
Mm.
And over about 6 months, he ended up having the same maintenance, but with the 6 fruits added in. So he
That's
gained some
cool.
fat initially, then it went right back down
Mm.
over time because his metabolism went up.
Yeah.
So it's like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
How many months do you think it
Yeah.
took for his metabolism to go up to that point?
he said 6 months.
6 months until he like lost the weight, or was
Yeah,
it 6 months over
he
time?
kept the meat and fat like the same from carnivore. he added in the fruits, he gained some pounds, and then in 6 months, he was back to actually, I think, slightly leaner
Okay.
with the same. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to start talking about like this ketogenic state where we have less appetite, we're able to be satiated for longer with less food. Our BMI generally goes down because we're conserving energy more. Thyroid hormones generally go down, which help us conserve energy and not burn through energy as fast. And even when I was on carnivore, I was talking about this. Like, this is just because, fat oxidation requires less T3 hormone. You don't need as much of a higher metabolic rate. That doesn't mean it's inefficient. But like being in this state of like slow metabolism, conserving energy, it's very comparable to like a bear hibernating, or even like an Inuit trying to conserve energy with like a lot of PUFA slowing down the metabolism. Like bears eat a lot of wild salmon before they go into hibernation, and then they put on fat, they become insulin resistant, and they eat berries that also helps them put on fat at the same time. And then they conserve energy, their metabolism is lower, their body temperature is lower, but that helps them last longer in this hibernation. That's kind of like what I see is happening when people are trying to enter this state of like energy conservation in like ketosis.
One thing I'll chip in real quick is like the 1 meal a day ketosis fat oxidated, like that whole thing is like the T4 is largely going into reverse T3.
Yeah.
This is very consistently observed when you're getting 1 insulin secretion per day.
It's observed by you, but I haven't. And you look it up online, even keto trials, it's like, oh, the blood work is pretty consistent with somebody who's just fat oxidizing fat. Not that their thyroid is dysfunctional.
Wait, so you're saying like you don't think on keto there's more higher reverse T3 and lower T3?
Well, I'm talking about like TSH, and I'm not like an expert in thyroid panels or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, TSH is like basically how they used to try to, well, they still do. It's a very incomplete look at the thyroid because you need T3, reverse T3, T4, and TSH to really get an understanding of what's happening. Because reverse T3 is competing with T3 at the receptor. So even if you have adequate T3 on keto, if you have high reverse T3, that was my case actually on carnivore, very high reverse T3, then it's not actually effectively being utilized, so
I'm like, I genuinely apologize if both of you guys never got to this point, but like with my experience with the carnivore, every time I'm consistent with everybody I've observed, you get hungry and hungry over time because most people don't really, they're not really in touch with what hunger feels like. So I can sit down and consume literally 2 steaks with butter on them and everything in one sitting.
No, I could do that. Like when I was doing 1 meal a day, I would eat like 1.2 kilograms of meat and fat. A lot of meat.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was something relevant about this. I have this guy in my school community. He still does carnivore, and he eats like you're describing. His appetite's huge. He's eating tons of cooked meat, right? And I think it's actually self-medication because when you look at his macro split, he's eating up to almost 500 grams of protein. So he's actually in glucose oxidation.
What the fuck?
So that's like a self-medication, I think, to eat so much on carnivore when it's a lot of protein.
Okay, so you say low appetite sickness and high appetite is bad? Like, dude,
well, if you
creeps back up when it's just a transient process of keto flu.
Listen. He's eating super high protein, which is giving him lots of insulin throughout the day. It's basically acting as carbs, right? He eats so much protein.
I'm talking about slapping like a whole stick of butter and like, steaks and stuff. Like I get really hungry. It's just like people that try carnivore for a couple of weeks and say, I felt like crap. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you did.
I mean, their cortisol is high for about the first month. I mean,
well, your cortisol is only really high when you need to catabolize muscle tissue, which drops off after the first few days.
And most of the, at least in keto,
metabolically
it's normally high for a month.
Transport amino acids from your muscle tissue.
Yeah, I think the reason that I did it for like 2 months, I think the reason that I would wake up every night at 3 a.m. was probably because my cortisol curve was a bit disrupted. I think that's a likely reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That sucks.
I mean, cortisol is also like going to it's a signal release when you're breaking down fat as well.
Yeah, like high fat oxidation raises cortisol.
And I mean that's the thing. Like my cortisol, see on carnivore, my cortisol was actually so high outside of the reference range. And again, when you have chronically high cortisol, not saying that will happen, but something that's not uncommon. It was my case.
Mm.
Is that when cortisol is high, right? It's also sending hormones have signals. It's sending a signal to convert that T4 into reverse T3 instead of active thyroid
So
hormone.
when you look at RDAs and reference ranges, you agree when you find it convenient that RDAs are based on nonsense, just the general population eating American diet, whatever. But suddenly for cortisol, you're like, oh, well, the reference range for standard Americans, this is what I should be following in the diet. That's
Well, it
vastly
doesn't
different.
change like
You know,
downstream
Okay,
effects of
so
cortisol compared to like the
hold on.
requirement for nutrients, right?
So with hormones, we understand that it's not necessarily that cortisol is a stress hormone, but it's we understand certain hormones are indicative of a
glucocorticoid.
stress response, right? So if you throw someone in in a chamber and they can't eat for 7 days, they'll have super high norepinephrine, adrenaline, and cortisol, and the same things that are going to be mobilizing their body fat are also going to send a signal to turn down thyroid function because the body is intelligent.
They're
So the same
conserving, yeah,
signals, yeah, they're conserving
conserving
energy.
the
So it's a
Mm.
good
yeah.
thing that someone in that state will have high cortisol to convert into more reverse T3 to lower their
Yeah.
metabolic rate,
Okay.
turn down their
So just
sex
grant, yeah,
hormones.
because that's absolutely
Yeah,
right. But so if it's now, okay, so if you're lowering your metabolism in response to not eating enough, then why in a carnivore diet is it not just because you're not eating enough? Why is it because of
I
this
can get
innate
there, but I
function of
have to
carnivore
finish
diet?
my point. But I'll
Okay.
address that because what I was answering is the fact that so if we can get context and an understanding of when these hormones are high and what they're doing and what signals they're sending, when I can look at and say if I have higher cortisol than the average American chronically, that's fucking really bad, bro. That's a very bad sign. The
Is
same
it?
way with RDAs, if I saw that I had less of any micro than an average American,
Yeah.
I'd be pretty concerned, bro. I'd be like, fuck.
So if you got
That
higher
can't be
cholesterol as
good.
well, or like given several other metrics, like
Well,
that's
cholesterol
probably
is a little more
or Western insulin.
contextual, to be fair.
Like so
Uh,
your biomarker is different than standard American, and so bad.
well, when something is like indicative, if it's literally the antithesis of free testosterone of active thyroid hormone, when it's just indicative of stress, generally it's a stress response hormone. Then I definitely don't want to see that being extremely
Yeah, you're
high.
talking about stress pathology, which you're just defining as carnivore, but stress pathology is does not. It's different, you know. You're arbitrarily setting that range is like bad. But see, when I eat carbs, I feel sluggish, I feel tired, I feel brain foggy, I don't feel very good. When I am carnivore, I'm like awake, and I'm like, oh, I'm attentive, my anxiety's gone, I feel present and clear and great. And I don't think
Right,
if there's some, I could imagine if there's some more like cortisol raised because I'm more awake and I feel great. My ADHD is better, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
bro. I don't doubt
I don't
that
see
if
why
you're
it's
deep into carnivore though, right? Because now it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Your
carbs, you'll have
pathological
more of
insulin
an
resistance.
elevated. Yeah, it's like, bro,
I can switch back
100%.
between them. Like I've consumed carbs sometimes, and then the next day I'm consuming fat again. I feel, or the next few days. You know what I mean? And I have
But even
no
if
bump
listen,
in
okay, even if you
transitioning.
feel this way, like to keep on track though, I mean, even in a carnivore, if you have chronically elevated cortisol, that's still sending signals. Like that's what it does.
Chronic elevation, sure.
Yeah. So
But
like
what
for
is
me,
chronic
like listen
elevation?
again, it's just n=1, but I got my cortisol tested 3 independent times and it was always super high on carnivore, bro.
In the same
Like
diet or what?
not on the same day,
The
but
same day?
over
Sorry.
not on the same day, no, over 3 different testing periods. It was even a little high after I'd been off it for carnivore for about a week. I needed to get it tested again, but it went down when I got off carnivore. I added in more dairy and honey. So, I
So
mean,
begging the
bro,
question, right?
what do you mean?
Because why would it be? Why would is it always bad when it's raised? Why is it always good when it's lowered? And then again,
Oh,
cortisol is cyclical. So
yeah.
why are you
So,
thinking at any one point in the day like it can tell you anything?
well, again, I've looked at it multiple times, and again, it's a
Different
standardized
days,
time of
different
day.
times.
But again, it's a standardized time of day you take this test with this lab so they can compare it to people who also took it at the same time of day. So it's like you again, you learn from Bart, right? You can tell because everything is from a place of extreme skepticism, which is a classic like ideology he has. He's like,
Dude,
show me that
I
this.
talked to you on the phone before I even knew who Bart K was. I kind of knew about him in the last like few months. Like the first stream I had was the first time I had like much interaction
But
with them.
okay, you may have known me before, but what you're saying now is from his perspective, clearly.
If he
Like he
shares that
looks
with me, but I have not like gotten that from him.
okay, fine. Well, I'm not trying to like make you little bro you. I'm just saying those things reek of Bart K. Like that whole, well, prove
Okay,
to me that
regardless,
cortisol. I was like,
we're saying
yeah,
that, but we're begging the question that it's, again, that's fundamentally the issue because I'm saying, oh, you could say my cholesterol range is bad, but we all agree that a higher cholesterol is not necessarily pathologic. But it's the same arbitrary, like, okay, high cortisol, okay, symptomology, I feel great. You know what I mean? I don't know why there's, like,
yeah,
if I have elevated cortisol versus this random guy, why is
okay.
that bad? If I
So I
feel
guess
good.
would you refute the idea that we have any insight into what an optimal hormonal profile looks like for a human? Like, do you think that just doesn't
No, of
exist?
course
And
not.
it's okay. So if you had to guess, do you think that in an optimal hormonal profile we would have like higher or lower cortisol chronically?
Higher relative to what?
Let's say the median.
Like the standard American?
Yeah, their cortisol level. Would it probably be higher or
Yeah,
lower than that?
I'm really not that far into endocrinology. It's like
Okay.
I think that if in my head, if you're consuming a diet that we're the most adapted to,
Oh,
and
okay.
you know what I
Okay.
mean, like
Yeah.
so
The
what's
Eddie position.
changing is going to be you know we spare some terrible pathology or symptomology
I
that's
think that
But
indicated otherwise.
you're begging the question that carnivore would be the most adapted to there, which we'd have
Yes,
to.
absolutely.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So
I'm,
then
I'm agreeing
it
to
all
that.
rests on this. So really, when you look at carnivore, there's all these. So this is perfect. When you look at carnivore, there's actually a lot of indicative things like very high LDL cholesterol, which really can indicate that's such a sign of low thyroid function because you don't have enough T3 to convert that into the steroid hormones like pregnenolone,
Okay, okay.
right? You have oh wait no 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 let me finish then you can
All
say
right,
they're all
all right.
bullshit. That's fine. Point is you have the red blood cell length, you have the lifespan, you have the high LDL, you have Sean Baker with 200 testosterone. You have all these markers that general compared to everything we know on carnivore, they all look pretty shit actually, like genuinely. But then same with like ferritin, iron, oh blah blah, blah all these things. But then carnivore, all they say is okay, yeah, but that's just all inaccurate because you're on a carnivore diet. You're magically a new human, and everything should be upside down. Okay, fine. But then it all rests on this ancestral idea. Then we get down to it, and the top carnivore influencer, essentially Eddie, I would say, I'm like, okay, prove we didn't eat the carbs. Oh, he can't. So all of this dog shit is resting on something that cannot be proven. So don't you think that's a really risky thing to then propose as being factually true?
Wait, so talking to Eddie was like the consensus among the science or what? But
That if that's what you got from that, I think you're missing the point.
LDL, yeah, well, okay, you said the top carnival influencers, Eddie couldn't prove something to you, but LDL is a transporter of fat. So why in the world would it be surprising that you're transporting more fat when you're consuming more fat? Like that, like
No,
of course you're
I'm
going
not
to be
surprised
transporting more
about
fat.
it. Well, okay, listen. The point wasn't to look at the individual mechanisms. I think the point is we have a lot of things, and I think carnivores would agree. We have so many things that, according to what we do understand about hormones and levels of cholesterol and levels of nutrient status, they all indicate being really out of range, especially with the hormones on carnivore. But carnivores, especially like Bart and Eddie will say, will prove to us that those hormones are exactly where they should be, quote unquote, for our ancestrally appropriate diet. The point is, you now have to prove that diet is ancestrally appropriate beyond doubt, because otherwise, look at the gamble we're taking. Like, I don't want
Right,
200 free, you know.
200 free tests.
Yeah.
You're selecting these hormone profile, these certain hormones, and you're saying, okay, these are bad, right? But then you're conveniently leaving out, oh, very low fasting insulin. You're leaving out low methylation rate. You're leaving
Oh, yeah,
out,
high glucagon. I love that, right? Like, what?
yeah, of course. So, lower fat, that lower fasting insulin is the best thing anybody can do for their health. Because higher insulin is affecting the
Oh,
endothelium and raising blood
oh,
pressure.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I
also
misinterpreted what you're
contributing.
saying. Yeah,
Just
sure. Of course, not eating carbs if you have insulin resistance. It's just like you have a broken bicycle and you're just not riding it. It's like, yeah, of course.
Do you think
But
people
so
who are
what
yeah,
I'm saying.
metabolically adapted to carbs have like higher fasting insulin than carnivores?
no, no, no. Honestly, bro, wait. Let me get to this
Generally,
point.
yeah.
Wait. I want to. Okay, so first thing first, will you accept that there's a variety of markers that seem to be very different on a carnivore diet?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, fair enough, right?
Pretty
Okay,
much
fine.
any American, yeah.
And when we look at a lot of them, typically in keto and carnivore dieters, from what I've observed and throughout many studies, you will see things like higher cortisol, you'll see things like lower free testosterone, higher sex hormone binding globulin. You'll see a lot of indications of something that, from what we understand, isn't optimal. Very high cholesterol, and especially with lower T3, that's building a picture here if you want to look at the overall hormonal profile. Okay, we understand that. And all of this rests, the common argument, including your own, is that, well, if this is the profile on the ancestrally appropriate diet, then so be it. It's optimal. So isn't it a lot more risky to say that's optimal if we cannot actually prove it's our ancestral diet?
So for somebody who all that's resting on, of course, if they don't understand anything else. But see, when you have a better picture of like the response to injury model of heart disease, you'll recognize, oh, LDL has basically nothing to do with heart disease. It's all about injury and it's about the damaged cell membranes and whatnot. But so like, it's definitely not like I said, that's a starting point. But you could look at, okay, why would high LDL not be pathologic? Oh wait, it makes a lot more sense that that's not the cause of heart disease. And I've broken this down mechanistically so many times. But I mean, given any other hormone, we could do the same thing. And cortisol, like I've just been explaining, and I couldn't explain cortisol the same way I could heart disease, but I've seen no reason personally why that elevated cortisol is. It doesn't make me feel worse. If there's an elevation in cortisol, but do you
Yeah,
get
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
when
Like,
we
there's a
like
lot more
inject
than
someone
just.
with a cortisone shot, like it can affect their mood. Like these hormones do have, especially the glucocorticoids, have effects on our mood. But anyway,
Sure.
if your N equals one, like fair enough. But and it's not necessarily that you will have high cortisol on carnivore, but you definitely will have high glucagon, and you will be in a very glucagon dominant state. And
Yeah.
insulin, as you know, is the antithesis. And when we have a lot more of the insulin sided in that yin and yang, we're going to definitely have a faster metabolism. And I think it would make sense to you that even in the idea that humans were in a winter, when they would have access to fruits in the summer, that would increase the signals of abundance and raise the sex hormones because we have access to
Glu-
fruit and ample energy.
Glucagon, glucagon, just so you know, it raises BMR because it's promoting fat breakdown and whatnot. And this has been shown. I mean, this is not controversial. So that profile would actually be raising your BMR, not the
So
other way around.
wait, hold on. So you think the signals that are breaking down our own fat stores are telling the body, yeah, let's burn more energy because we're in a famine?
Yeah,
It's
let's
it's
just like eat ourselves to
Yeah.
death.
We can Google this. I mean, this is not like keto diet generally raise BMR. It's because of the elevation of glucagon, not you know
Wait,
the other way
I'd only
around.
look at the study if they're identical twins locked in labs, though. But
Fair enough.
And is
Got
there
me
a
there.
control group on the optimal diet that, in my opinion, says that is the optimal diet as well?
yeah, I'd
Cooks.
have
Wait,
to. I
Absolutely
mean,
cooks.
and I mean, are they measuring their metabolic rate at all times of the day, or maybe it was an arbitrary time in the day? You see how
It's
that's
true. It's true.
such a bullshit like way to look at
Throw it
things.
all
But
out.
like,
wait, I have a point.
man,
So like, if we,
yeah.
it was like, I wanted to inject about like the more you have like higher free testosterone during the summer when we have that signal of abundance of fruit. Then there's also like during the winter when we don't have that abundance. That's like you have more of a conservation. You're like in a hibernation state. That's why like species generally don't have children during these times. Like they don't have the excess energy to be able to reproduce. Like they don't have the testosterone. They don't have the high sex drive because they're conserving energy out of necessity, not because it's like an actual optimal state that they want to be in. My camera died.
I think, Marcus, I think the Inuit would refuse fruit if they had access. They would want to try to stay in, their ketosis. Oh, actually, they weren't in
They're not in
ketosis, but
keto.
yeah, even they aren't.
No, no.
How about that? Yeah, if you gave some, by the way, when we look ancestrally, the humans, like post-agriculture, they would have cellars full of fruit jams and root veg for the winter. But, you know,
But
they would save it as long as they could.
is that in nature or is that man-made cellar?
Yeah, right? Where do we draw the line?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think
draw the
actually
line
as
of
we've
intuition.
as we've left quote unquote nature, it seems like a lot less people are dying in the winters than they used to.
Yeah.
And seed oil is actually, have raised in consumption with our life expectancy. So, I mean, generally, I think things have gotten a lot better since we introduced seed oils into our diets. I mean, right, Marcus, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
This was something that people wanted me to ask you, but are you the true Eve?
That's not me, bro.
He was the true Eve on carnivore. Now he's true Adam. Now that he got leaner,
Dang.
Now that my
the
face,
carbs turned him into
my
true
face-
Adam. It
my
literally,
face
the
buffness
edit
went
said
down.
it actually made him grow facial hair within one day.
Yeah, the new addict.
actually.
Yeah, he exposed me for growing
Yeah.
facial hair.
He
Dude.
actually ate one fruit and his face just got masculine.
Yeah.
So.
He suddenly had pubes.
Yeah, bro, I showed my mom that video. It was so funny. Like, he was like, Marcus finally had puberty now because he started consuming carbs again. Like, no, I just didn't shave for like 3 days.
I think we all can agree Cry for Max is a cancer to the internet.
Yeah, did you see my reaction to him?
Yeah, that's my reaction every time I see
Yeah.
him.
Like, he actually, this girl is promoting, like, the closest diet that he's ever seen to what he believes optimal. And, oh, there's some rosemary on the plate, so I'm going to complain. Oh, she threw out the egg white, so I'm going to complain. Like, totally just
Yeah.
trying to find shit to pick at, not even
Bro,
trying to provide
you know
any
what's,
value.
You know what's comical? Bro, you know what's comical about Cry for Max? I saw someone say, he made a video saying how happy he was to eat raw milk. And then people in the comments are like, you're happy for the only thing with carbs. It's
Yeah.
like, it's so true.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
true.
Yeah, exactly.
That self-medication on carnivore, when your raw milk starts getting higher, that's such an indicator.
Uh-huh.
You start
It's
straying
dope.
more to the milk.
I think so.
You know you love milk, bro.
Of course.
You know you love fruit too. You don't, dude, even like
Of course.
considering how unproven this field is, do you really want to go your life without like tasting a mango again? Like even from that, it's like, what do you think the benefit is?
Who in the world is saying that?
Well, you're on carnivore, right?
He eats
Yeah.
blueberries. He's not even, like, zero carb.
Oh, so you're not in carnivore. Oh, okay.
Dude, I don't know what carnivore ideology you're following, but I'm following the physiology.
He's eating
Not-
He's eating his indicated amount of blueberries. But not any more, not any less.
Well, it's,
Are those
it's like
natural blueberries?
Yeah, they're wild
I have one of those
blueberries.
like pill like organizers, and I have like blueberries each day that I can consume. You know, like 20.
Are they wild blueberries though, or are they cultivated? Because
Yeah.
that might be messing with your
Actually-
intuition a bit, bro. It's artificial.
Mmm.
They're from the supermarket. Gosh dang it!
Oh,
If you want to
fuck.
imitate nature, shouldn't you also? Why are you even on this call though? I don't know. I think you should return to the forest and just eat meat
Better
and
not
fat.
get that cancer treated, bro.
What if every human on carnivore got cancer? Would that be evolutionarily indicated?
That would probably be something to pay attention to, wouldn't it?
Would that be indicated then? Because that's our natural diet.
No, but it's a positive selection for cancer though.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
my
where
first
would you
nutrition
draw the
professor-
line? Like, could there be something that every carnivore would get and you'd be like, okay, this is probably not good? Is there a line somewhere?
Yeah, of course. If it was clearly
Okay.
pathological. But so my first nutrition professor, funny enough, this is the same school that Jacob Foods went to, but she had a diet that she
School of
described as
Freemasonry?
consisting of meat and milk. That was it, right? Just red meat and milk.
Mm.
She was a lawyer that went back to school to get her doctorate in nutrition. She studies human breast milk, which is really cool. But nutrition professor, she
funny enough,
cured her, put her cancer in remission with this diet. You know, just
With the
meat
carbs.
and
School
of
Freemasonry?
which again, that milk is relatively cow's milk is relatively very low carb. You know what I mean? I'm not so the physiology is what I'm talking about. It's not like, oh, you can't consume any carbs. It's like she's not getting hundreds, but like for the cancer physiology, for instance, that low carb was, I would argue every single day, that was what helped slow the cancer proliferation.
I mean, that'd be one way to look at it. I'd look at it as, okay, we're getting great sources of carbs, fats, proteins, and all your micros. I mean,
Milk is
Well,
like
there's
pretty
gotta be,
balanced. It's
like,
like even Jersey raw
Because, I
milk is
mean-
like 6% fat, 4% carb.
I get almost all my carbs from milk. It's like, it's a great
how much milk do you
source.
drink
Like,
a day?
I'm like at a half gallon a day. Like, and I mean, the galactose, like, the more I look into galactose, I'm like, this
It
is
is
the
good.
most mager sugar, bro.
It is good, yeah. For
No,
liver glycogen.
no, like, literally no glycation from it at all, anyway. And then it's the easiest way to refill your liver glycogen, which is why it's so valuable.
Mm.
And the glycemic index of milk is like 32 or something. So, must spike.
This That's an interesting statement.
Some egg whites would be almost more of an insulin spike.
Mm.
The leucine.
Yeah.
So, someone said that you're lowering your carb intake, Ross.
It's actually been pretty consistent. I eat around like 150 to 200 a day.
Okay, so not like according to the recommended range in the
The
calculator.
the thing with the whole calculator meme, I was figuring it was going to go there is it's a slider. Like I think a lot of people do good at 40% of calories, quote unquote, from fat. Oh, also I have a question. Are you still in the whole Bart
I have
K
a
thing of
question.
like humans? Yeah, a question. Do you have a? Oh, sorry, looking at True Eve. Oh, that's delayed. Okay.
Yo, what?
Yeah, I was just on the stream. Okay, so are you still on the same page as Bart of like saying when people say calories, you're like, oh, you can't eat calories because they're not actually what we're eating? Or do you understand it's an approximation of food?
Well, of course, it's a marker for.
Huh, that's why I said, I
grams.
literally just
As
said
long
that in
as
my
it's
latest
consistent.
videos on editing. That's
Yeah, as
weird.
long as it's consistent, it doesn't. Oh, did you already say that, Marcus?
No, like, that was weird. Yesterday I was recording a video. I've never heard anyone, like, mention this. And I was recording a video and he was talking about calories and I was like, yeah, calories can be accurate to, like, see if you're eating a balanced macronutrient diet and, like, it's actual food, then you can use it as, like, a semi-accurate representation of how much food you're consuming. But it's not relevant to your metabolism.
With the caveat, with protein held equal, it's pretty, like,
Yeah.
because protein obviously has a thermic cost, it's structural. So among fats
I've
and
heard that labels
carbs, I
account for
mean,
that. Like, account for that.
well, when you're eating food with labels, I think it can be very
It's-
inaccurate with calories. But
yeah.
if you're like weighing white rice, then it's like pretty much 100%
Right.
accurate.
Well, they
Like, if
could
you're,
be
like, weighing
20%
chicken.
within the range, apparently. 20% over or under with packaged
Yeah.
foods.
Right. Yeah. So, but I think we're obviously all going to be eating whole foods here. Because I don't think any of us are actually like the Peters where we're eating like Ben and Jerry's and shit. But
No.
so yeah, in any of our contexts, if you were to use calories, like I would just weigh out how much milk I'm drinking or something. It's like
I'm glad that
very,
you differentiated yourself from the Peters, because
bro.
that's
I'm
like
always
way
going
too-
back to the roots of what fixed my health, which was a lot of raw dairy, raw honey, raw meat, some fruit, law, and I think it was optimal. I just needed the veg juice to raise my appetite for meat.
But you need moldy berries to detox heavy metals. Someone in chat was literally saying before, he was spamming like, Marcus's brain is rotting because he didn't eat moldy berries and coconut cream.
I needed to let my milk ferment to turn the lactose into lactic acid,
Yeah, and then get endotoxin.
The mogs.
Bro,
And
so
what was
you're
that
at
other
rotten
thing
meat.
that other protein
What's up?
oxidation product in
You're
fermented
eating the
milk?
rotten meat or like fermented stuff.
Oh, I was
High meat.
never into, dude, with the
Did your mom feed it
Agenus,
to you? High meat?
yeah, she did a little bit. Because she actually followed the book. Like, I did the green juices as a kid. I hated them. It was torture.
Your mom was an
Unfortunately.
Agenus person?
Yeah, she knew Agenus back in the day.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she got a consult with them, and Agenus could tell from her iris that she was a smoker, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, cool.
I think that's pretty cool.
What was her smell?
No, like she was a smoker like a decade before the consult.
Oh,
And he could tell that he was like, you've smoked for about a decade, and that was accurate, which I think is actually pretty crazy, to be fair. That was from a palm reading and an iris reading.
a palm reading.
Yeah, he did the palm and the iris reading. But like what I was gonna say is, for me, I strategically did avoid the rotten stuff, the green juices and the nuts, when I did the Agenus diet. So, yep, ideal.
Yeah, so what about like the? So I recently made a video about this, but like I realized like germ theory is absolutely accurate, and it does not mean the things that people think it means. Like it explains why you can consume rotten beef, and some people not get sick. Many of them do, but or like ramen, for instance, and like a lot of it has to do with stomach acidity. And our stomachs are so acidic while fasted or eating a carnivore diet, and like people aren't accounting for that. Like other animals clearly can consume it and be fine, and we attribute that to their stomach acid. but humans are the same, so why are we not?
Appreciate the
I'm not
donut.
saying that's not involved for anybody to do that, but
Yeah, I'm sure if you eat a lot more meat, you're gonna have a more acidic pH there. Yeah, right. Because we were scavengers at one point, it seems.
Homo habilis, right?
Yeah.
I don't think
Boys,
there's
I gotta
much
go.
evidence for like the foodborne bacteria causing issues at all. Though. All right, bro.
All right, peace.
Oh, y'all are out. Okay. Peace.
Just him. He's gone.
Oh, okay. Peace.
You trying to play Fortnite, Frost?
So you see, it's 10:40 for me.
Ah, it's late. Okay.
Wait, what time is it for you?
It's like 12:40 p.m. Like noon.
Oh, I see. Fuck that mugs. My circadian rhythm is not good anymore, man.
I mean, I was home at midnight last night, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I'm definitely fucking with more of the dairy recently.
Yeah. Dude, I had I'm trying
Wait,
to
can I not?
make
Wait,
my
are you speaking?
Yeah? Can you hear me?
The fuck? Wait, hello?
Yeah, what's up? You can't hear me.
Hello.
You can't hear me?
Oh.
Tripping. You thought I can't play games? I can play games. I just prefer to do other things most of the time. But yeah, no, bro, I used to be really good, but I'm really dog shit now. I haven't played in so long, so I'm really bad. But I actually used to be decent. Yo, this Frost guy's tripping. Yo, can you still not hear me? This guy's tripping. Yeah, also I have a hub for my Mac which only uses it only goes to like 60 hertz. It only processes 60 hertz. So I have a 144 monitor, but my hub is only 60 hertz. Can you hear me? Okay. No. Yeah. Peyton kept saying having one or the other macronutrient makes your BMR higher, and I was like, well, like more ATP, like higher rate of ATP production. I'm like, can you actually show that? And he's just like, oh, well, but in feeding trials, like there's always going to be inertia of like one pathway. I'm like, but does it actually slow the BMR or no? Mm. I think they can, it's just delayed. Wait, talk? No, they can't hear you, what the fuck? Oh, because I turned off the Discord. Now they can hear you, I think. Wait. Let me fix that. Yeah, no, it was like, they could hear you before though. Hold on. They still can't hear you. I need to fix it again. Because I didn't transition, that's why. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Alright,
Nice.
sorry about that.
Yeah, what was he saying? Yeah, I mean, these debates, it's also this. I think we need, dude. I need to do a real fucking like dive on just prove this anthropology once and beyond doubt. Like,
Mm,
even though I think it's pretty clear, but you know,
mm, mm. Which part's the anthropology? Like, just give a little talk for the viewers about
wait,
it
what's
now.
up?
Just give us a preview of this like anthropology you're talking about. What you need
Oh,
to prove.
I would say we need to have a very clear timeline and map of where humans were and then what specific fruits they'd have access to and like the fiber to sugar content of those
Yeah,
fruits.
yeah,
Because in Denise Minger's article, she covers the fiber to sugar ratio of these old fruits,
mm-hmm.
and some of them were like more sugary than the modern ones. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, I've seen.
yeah,
There's like the African bush mango. There's like the utu fruit. These like white rubber vine fruits. Let me try and pull them up.
but wait, also here's one of my huge points.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of up in the air, carnivore or kind of fruit and meat, whatever. Let's just call it that.
Mm.
Even though I think dairy is obviously uniquely good beyond that. But anyway, we have one of the diets that is so against our intuition as
Mm.
well. And it's kind of a miserable way to eat. You're just eating meat and fat for the rest of your life. It's like not even realistic.
Yeah.
So when we're prescribing an approach, why doesn't it even just make more sense just to be healthy, bro? Eat some meat and fat and then eat some mango, eat some blueberry, eat some raspberry. Have the variety.
Especially
Even from
since they can't prove
yeah.
whether that it's optimal.
Yeah, it's like in the position we're in, why is that not the more sensible approach?
Yeah.
I don't
It should
get it.
be.
And then on top of that, we also are like, okay, yeah, eating carbs is likely less glycating overall.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
little blood sugar rise, bro, it makes some amyloid
Every
products and
product
shit
shift
bases, they
bases
go
and then you
back, bro. What the
reverse, and
fuck?
then
Like,
you've got chronically high MGO, just always glycating.
like where, like you see, like when I first came around, like how all this shit falls apart, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
like,
it fell apart quickly.
yeah. Yeah, we're cooking the circadian rhythm, man.
Dude, fucking Cry for Max talking about activating the renal cycle still, as if like it's
It's
not
like,
a
dude,
continuous
it's also like,
thing.
yeah, and please go on, explain it to me, and then show me the harm of it, please.
Yeah. What does activating it entice? And what does activating entail?
Yeah.
What does
Oh no,
activating
a
it mean?
cell is choosing between fats and carbs largely? Oh my god, bro. Holy fuck. It's like, it's also, that's a mechanism in itself. Let's say there was a harm. It's like, okay, is that the only thing we're going to look at?
Mm.
Oh, this mechanism is, retarded.
Was it? Dude. Fortnite would get hella views. Can someone said Bryce and then Yahoo? What is Bryce saying? His eyes were dripping with tears. Someone said Tito was tearing up and his eyes were dripping with tears.
That's just the keto anxiety, my friend.
No, but GABA is activated on keto, so his anxiety should be lower. Mechanistically.
I do supplement magnesium. It's the one thing I supplement these days.
Not alcohol? Do you supplement alcohol?
Oh, that too.
Is it
That
raw
converts
alcohol?
the T4 into T3 in the liver.
Yeah, is it raw alcohol though?
I hope.
Not
I don't regret
pasteurized?
drinking the other day at all.
Yeah, why would you?
To be
Well,
honest, I came back even more resilient. It's a nutrient. But no, you know what, bro? I'm gonna be on my deathbed wishing I didn't drink when I'm 21 with a hot girl. Oh my god.
yeah, true.
Fuck. Although, it's very, very bad if you drink more than, I would say, every 3 months or so.
I haven't drunk.
Here's how it went down for me. I was on a date with this girl,
Mm.
and then I realized she wanted to drink, right? I like her. She was kind of shy, And I was like, yeah, if we drank, I'd get to know her like more.
Yeah, yeah. If she's trying.
And then I was like,
Yeah.
I'm already rich, and I'm 21. Like, what am I gonna do?
You don't have
Oh
much
no.
to like.
Yeah, like this should be at least a time to enjoy a little bit.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it.
yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do?
That's
So,
fair.
no.
Like if you have a couple pimples in a week's time, that's not gonna really affect your life that much.
Yeah, I didn't get any acne from it, interestingly.
Okay.
Because it was just vodka.
Hmm.
So I think if I ate bread, I would have gotten more like acne actually
For real.
than alcohol. Yeah.
Dude, I had a family like thing yesterday, my mom's birthday. I ate hella
Mhm.
salt, like a
Really?
little bit. Well, there was like some processed meats and like some bread and
Mm.
stuff. Not like a big meal though. So
I mean, I only
not
look
too
at
bad.
like detrimental slop as like fried and cereal food.
Yeah.
What is the moldy berry trend?
But it's like some
What is that?
it's like some arduous detoxing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Moldy berries detox heavy metals from your brain.
Oh, I see.
Alcohol plus signaling drug addict equals holy PSL. Hmm.
See, my theory is that people like Oscar Patel or those like super, I would say, fake influencers.
Like gurus,
I
yeah.
know that dude has done some drugs, but like no one else is gonna ever just admit it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel. Right? He's rich as fuck, bro. He's probably snorted some coke. Like, yeah.
There's no reason to like keep. I mean, it's only gonna be people who are like unvaluable to your brand that are gonna hate on you for that usually. That's gonna
I
affect
think
their buying.
I also like to just be so honest about what I
Yeah,
do.
authority. I mean,
It's like, why not,
authenticity is
man?
good. Like when I
I
got
guess it's easier to say
tonsillitis,
because
I
I,
could have
yeah,
literally
yeah.
just said nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, yeah, I'm gonna try some antibiotics, be unbiased, like experiment, and yeah, like it went away in 6 days.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any issues with the antibiotics, so
Yeah.
mm. Doesn't mean I've like switched teams or anything. Like next thing I'm gonna promote like vaccines and shit. No, like I'm not
Exactly.
working for Tel Aviv because I took antibiotics.
Yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, people thought I was from Tel Aviv when I started eating fruit. It's like it's actually literally the opposite.
Yeah. Why are you trying to copy Cuffin? What does that mean?
He's far from that.
What does that mean?
You're far from fucking being cuffed, dude, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't understand the correlation.
I remember Cuffman got so mad at my face turning of him.
I would if I was him as well.
Yeah.
Pros, what's my Dymo rating? Is it like 4.7 or what? Is it below 5?
No.
No,
'Cause
it's
it's not
not.
even. You've like raised it since you dyed your eyebrows, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that for a while.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like far back. Nah, your
Yeah.
Damo isn't even below average, bro. That's cope. People would
I
say.
know it's not below average, yeah, obviously. Like,
Yeah, but they're
if I
saying
got
like
it,
Eve, bro.
I know, no, it's just because I'm like not high Dymo and I'm like above average mid skin features and everything, like healthy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, your rating has to be like, like objectively, I would say.
I think I'm
On my
like
scale, probably like
5 points.
6.25.
6.25, you would say.
You look better than Tom Holland, bro. It's for fucking
That
sure.
ass? Better than Tom
Yeah, the
Holland?
guy looks like fucking no, but you do look better than Tom Holland, yeah.
Alright, bro. Appreciate it.
Dude. Okay, bro. Alright, bro. Tell me you don't fucking emoji this guy. Get fucking serious. This guy looks, honestly, I might
Okay,
have to lower
fair.
him.
Okay, fair.
I might have to fucking lower him. Wait, let me give him more
That's a
fair
fucked
picture.
photo.
Yeah, let me be more fair. Or you're within range of him. Like, he's a 6 on my scale. Like, maybe a
Yeah, I think I'm like similar. Candid photo.
his best. Not the recent one. That one's ugly.
Dude, if he grew out his hair, covered his ears, it would just send him to.
If he got tan, dyed his eyebrows. See, maybe
Yeah,
maybe he could look better than you if he looks max. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie. Maybe.
his misc is bad, so he has more potential.
His misc is 3 years too.
Yeah.
He's a turbo man.
Is he 5'8"?
Dude, if I was with Zendaya and I was in his position, I'd be furious. Like,
Zendaya's like a 5. And she's like so masculine looking.
look at, like, if I was as status max as him and Zendaya was my
He could
wife,
pull
I'd be
so
mad.
much better. Yeah.
She's like high mugging him as well. I mean, maybe that's good for his kids, I guess, but
Mm. It's not good. Drop the hair routine, literally nothing. You don't want your views to die, hop on Fort. I might hop on Fort when Frost goes to bed.
yeah, I'll hop off in like 5.
Yeah. Frost, how do you feel about your real name being exposed?
Oh, the Nathan shit.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
Is that fake?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
I'm pretty sure on TikTok there was this guy who put his username as like Frost aka Nathan Face IQ, and he was like making fun of you. Making
How
up
did
shit.
how did that get traction?
I don't know.
Hmm.
No duos, bro. One of us would have 200 ping if we played duos.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed soon, so.
Yeah.
Let me look at my little face rating chart. I haven't opened that up in a minute. Let's see where you'll fall. Yeah, I think I was right though, around. Like, you could be also similar to, like, Justin Timberlake, because he does have more Dymo, but you have better misc.
His eyes look hella red around the eyelids. And the canthus.
Or you could be similar to, like, this guy in overall looks like, but then you wouldn't be like, this is like a 6.5, right? Like, you wouldn't be there mostly due to Dymo. I think 6.25 is pretty fair. So that would be the best out of 12.
Best looking out of 12 people my age?
Top 8%. Yeah.
Top 8%. Is like men aged 18 to 25?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it will go up a bit with more Dymo in the future.
Someone said, can we get an opinion on self-maxer? Thanks for the
Check this out.
Yeah.
Check that out. Put it in your stuff.
Okay. Put in my stuff?
Yeah, you'll
Face 6.25. Okay. 6.3. Says top 9% for that. Height.
Yeah.
6 foot. Physique. Probably
It's just muscle mass.
muscle mass only.
Yeah, because your leanness is in the face rating in a way.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Probably like top 30% muscle mass. Nah.
Are you sure about that?
Top
I don't know.
42. Yeah, maybe like a 5.2.
If you are 6 foot flat, then yeah, your SMV is probably like top 5%.
Top 4%. Yeah.
Do you think
Highest
that's
sexual market value out of 28 men. Yeah, probably. Tough. Dude, do you use like a code to calculate this?
I use
mean, so
Cloud
like-
Code to make the site, yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I like that.
Like, what do you call it? I think I could actually look. I think I need to get leaner even. Honestly.
I need to get leaner. I'm like 15% body fat.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm going down to 100 grams of fat a day. Keeping
Okay,
protein
yeah.
same. Carbs like 150 to 200.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And I'm going to the gym as well. So a
I mean,
little
if
bit
you
more
wanna
muscle
like,
mass would help.
I mean, yeah, I think it'll be a little more difficult to cut when you have moderate fat, moderate carb. Um, in a cutting stage, you could try. You can see. I think it's like subjective because some people will cut better with low carb, higher fat, high protein, but some
Mm.
people will cut better with low fat, higher carb, high protein.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
I'll just try like with low fat, well, like 50 to 100 grams.
Yeah, I mean, well, remember the difference between 50 and 100 grams of fat is 500 calories. It's pretty big.
Right. So like below 100 grams is low fat, you would say?
I would say, what's your weight?
72, 73, something like that, kilograms.
Okay. So you probably want to be like what, 71 or 70?
Probably 70 but with a little bit more muscle mass. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say you're getting, do you get 10K steps? Or you?
No.
Let me call it 5K then.
No.
Yeah. You should probably be at like 1900 calories and like, or you could go, I'd probably be looking at like 160 grams of protein,
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
80
doing.
grams of fat, and then maybe 180 carb.
Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah. I'll see what I've had today. I had a New York strip, glass of raw milk, honey, and an orange.
Nice. All right, I'm off to sleep, my boy.
Alright,
Peace.
see you, bro. Let's see the macros that I've had today. Am I on the phone with the queue? Yeah. Alright, let's pull this up. So, I'll pull up this thing. I accidentally opened Photoshop. Okay. I don't want to do that. Let me open a new screen capture. Window. ChatGPT. Okay. Okay. So what I've had is probably a tablespoon of honey and medium orange. That's, yeah, like a teaspoon of butter. Okay. So now I'll just like plan the rest of day of eating to make 80 grams fat, 180 grams carbs, 160 protein. Let's see. I feel it, yeah, that's good. I'll have that raw, really good raw. 2 cups raw milk, 2 cups orange juice, tablespoon of honey, 250 gross with ribeye. Okay, I got ribeye. 300 mils raw milk, 1 medium orange, 1 tablespoon of honey. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty good. Dude, I like having cream though. I really like cream, but it's just way too fatty to cut down. Bro, cream is so fatty. I had like 250 mils of cream, like a cup of cream the other day, and I go check how much fat it is. It's like 120 grams of fat. Like, that's more than I should have in a day to cut down. Holy random insulin spike. That's funny. Is this Primal GPT? Hold up, let me check Primal GPT. Oh. Dude, that shit's funny. I can't lie. I like how Arvin made that a meme. Do I recommend organs? I think like heart can be good and like brain maybe. But it's like not really necessary. Same meal 3 times. Well, it's like similar. Yeah, but it's like balanced, you know? Like I could swap out the orange juice for like apple, strawberry juice, you know? Like I got apple, strawberry, lemon, mint juice in my fridge. I could swap out the, you know, like I fill it for eggs, you know? Don't lie, I'm just be gay. Nah, not really, bro. Sorry. Marcus de Poot. What? Why they cut back on the organs? I just don't think it's necessary. Like, I used to be really into it because, you know, more nutrition, better, like, but it's like more dense nutrition, even better. And it's not as if it's just more of all the nutrients balanced. It's like more of certain nutrients that are imbalanced. I never had seafood for 5 years. Should I have some? But you could have some oysters, some lean fish. I think that, Nathan, I think that, there's not really a need to have any fatty fish. Like, the amount of DHA in grass-fed meat seems to be indicated. Okay, I might stream a live video reaction because I was meaning to do video reactions. But I could just do it on stream at the same time and then edit it. That would be just as good. Not watch later. Playlists, reactions. Okay, let's watch Casually Explained Being Healthy. Let's do that. I'll take chat off screen. Take that shit off screen. Put this on screen. Okay. Okay. And let's see if that stays when I full screen it, because last time it didn't.
Well, it's pretty common.
No, it went to bullshit. Okay. Why did it go to bullshit? That's retarded. Why did it do that? I don't know. It's so dumb. That's fine. Okay. Okay, let's watch this.
Well, it's
Being
pretty
healthy.
common knowledge that certain foods are healthy and other.
Big Health is an apple. don't think that's the epitome of a healthy food or something that you should base your diet around. Big flavor, small health. I think the flavors tapping into intuition that we have, that we should learn from to infer what's healthy, but it's also being artificially like alternated because there are other things, other factors, right, that make it unhealthy. Because these things are things that our genes have not been exposed to for a long time. Unlike sugar and fat and protein, right?
Aren't so much, it's pretty rare that you ever get an explanation as to why. And one thing that bothers me quite a bit is when someone says to eat something because it's good for you or it's a superfood, and almost universally what that really translates to is it grows in nature.
I mean, the superfood thing is usually based on little gimmicky things that people use to sell these products. Like in nuts, omega-3s, healthy fats, when really these are the least healthy fats. Not least healthy, but the most deleterious if you base your fat profile on them. It doesn't seem like you want to have your fat profile based around these fats because they're less stable, because they oxidize more easily and turn into aldehydes, because of the way they interact with your cell membranes. It's like antioxidants in blueberries, these kind of things that aren't actually proven, you know what I'm saying? And it's not actually real micronutrition, it's not actually the core of what health is about, right? Anything that people call a superfood, it's never anything down to the core of what health is built on. It's always a gimmick in most cases.
Food. And almost universally what that really translates to is it grows in nature. Ironically, half the time it only grows in nature.
See, what looks more appealing to your senses, right? Because I agree with this. If you want to choose everything that's natural and wild and nothing man-made, why not choose the wild banana? It's full of seeds, which you're probably going to swallow accidentally, and then absorb some of the anti-nutrients from the seeds, like phytic acid, oxalates, tannins, etc., and some like cyanide compounds. The banana is much more fibrous, much more starch content, much less free sugars. That's genuinely like unappealing to us and like unintuitive. Or the banana is high in sugar, less fiber, less starch, less seeds, which is more appealing to our intuition, right? And is there something about the difference that we can actually unbiased, like apart from intuition, see why that's healthier? Because if there's an indication of something that's more intuitive, and there's also something to back up why that's more intuitive, then why would we go for the thing that's just natural, right? Because why would we eat a wild banana in nature? Was it because of the high fiber content, the high starch content, or the very large seeds, or was it because of the sugar? Right? Why is it appealing to us at all? So why, if sugar is the only good part about this, and maybe some potassium, why is the modern banana, which has more of that, more of these good things, and less of the bad things that are unappealing to us, why is that bad, right? We always hear people saying, oh, but we evolved with this, our genes are adapted to this. What is our gene selecting for in that sense? Is it the fiber? Is it the seeds? Is it the small amount of sugar? Is it the harder to digest carbs, the fermentable carbs, or is it the sugar that it's appealing to us? Were we selecting for that, right? What were we selecting for? I assume that it's the thing that we, from our intuition, we've now cultivated these fruits to make them more appealing, and that in a sense is natural selection. Because selecting fruits, like the evolution of fruits, is just based on who has more, which species has superior traits for survival. And something that's more appealing to us has more superior traits, so that's natural selection.
Because we've
Anyway, went on a little bit of a rant there, but anyway.
selectively bred it over thousands of years to
Yeah, why have we selectively bred it?
be that way. And when half of our leading sources of
Because the thing that we were selecting for by picking that fruit in the first place, the wild fruit, is more abundant in fruits. We made it more abundant so that it's more optimal.
Nutrition advice or Pinterest recipes, a lot of what we consider common knowledge is actually completely made up. As an example, one of the most common terms you'll see online with regards to healthy food is that something gets rid of toxins in your body, which really doesn't make any sense.
That's true. Your body has its own detoxification mechanisms. If something is going to trigger that detox process, it's usually because it's detoxifying, because it's toxic and it has to be detoxified in the body. Marcus looks like he can't even do a 90. You talking about Fortnite?
If your body is filled with toxins and certain foods remove them, then that means we could have brought back Steve Irwin with a blueberry smoothie. In reality, almost all supplements or foods that get rid of toxins are really just laxatives or diuretics, so it makes you feel like they're somehow flushing something away, when in reality you could have just put 3 shots of vodka.
Or they're triggering glutathione release in response to that. And then there is some xenohomeosis there, but it's debated whether that's actually a good thing to raise your reduced glutathione to that level, because that can harm your mitochondrial redox potential as well, which isn't necessarily good.
In your latte like a regular person. The next thing you'll often run into are online recipes for anything made overnight in a mason jar, telling you you're not getting enough antioxidants. And one of the ways you can tell if you're not...
Yeah, you make your own antioxidants. You don't need any antioxidants from foods, and there's very little evidence suggesting that they're actually antioxidants or that they can benefit you in any way.
Getting enough antioxidants is by looking at your skin and seeing if it's starting to rust.
This is odd.
And while they do play a role in your body, the problem with suggesting that you should consume more is that it's fundamentally like saying the more oil you have in your car.
This is inaccurate. This is sunburn. Yeah, that's more oxidation in the skin, more oxidative stress, more inflammation. But then this is just tan on the right here. That's melanin production, which is triggered by ROS. So I get what he's saying. But it's not trying to rust. It's not your skin being that's not oxidized skin. That's melanin-rich skin, which is actually good for you. Helping protect against heavy metals, helping with your metabolism.
The problem with suggesting that you should consume more is that it's fundamentally like saying the more oil you have in your car, the less likely it is to break down, which is not true because too much actually makes things worse. The good news is that you do have too much oil in your car. You can add the excess to your overnight oats because motor oil is also high in antioxidants. Another common idea that's recently started to shift is that you should never skip breakfast, which there is absolutely no scientific basis for except that breakfast food is my favorite. I think the funny thing is that when I used to tell people I skipped breakfast, they thought I was crazy, but now I can say I'm doing
You should just eat when you're hungry, but I think replenishing glycogen, liver glycogen in the morning is beneficial, like after you wake up, because that's generally like quite depleted after you sleep. I think getting hydrated as well. But if you're not hungry in the morning, then don't eat anything,
intermittent fasting, and they're like, oh, very disciplined, when in reality I just woke up at noon. Relatedly, the next thing that's often incredibly misunderstood is diet, especially with things like paleo, keto, intermittent fasting, and varying degrees of vegetarianism becoming so popular. We've all heard limitless jokes about how do you know if someone is a vegan? Because they'll tell you, ha ha ha, classic comedy. But that's not even the case anymore. I see way more people on low-carb ketogenic diets post things on the internet like, look at this fool I saw today, eating an apple like an absolute normie, as they show off their Costco hollow pork rinds and butter.
Yeah, the interesting thing is they'll say this, but then when you ask someone what is the actual supposed harm in eating an apple, or even eating an apple every single day of your life compared to not, there's no way to actually prove that, and there's no... Sorry. There's nothing that they would actually tell you that they could back up, right? Oh, glycation, Randall cycle... Is that glycation, is the AGE formation significant? From eating an apple a day, even though most of the glycation from a blood sugar spike is just reversible intermediates being produced. So that means like shift bases and amidori products being produced by sugar. which is a step before AGE formation, these can be reduced, reversed back into non-glycating, non-toxic forms, compared to like being in chronic ketosis and having that 2 times elevated methylglyoxal, which is a reactive glycating aldehyde. And generally, people on keto diets present as if they have higher glycative rates, right? They have higher methylglyoxal, higher hemoglobin A1C. And this is because of like higher ketone levels condensing into methylglyoxal, and then also they're raising blood sugar that creeps up because of their peripheral insulin resistance that they're having. So like, yeah, it's kind of silly.
The most important thing to know is that generally speaking, weight is regulated by calorie intake, so you have a certain amount of...
No, not true. It's not calories. Calories, if you're consuming whole foods, then calories, yes, can be a representation of how much you're eating, but it depends on the macro split and how that's going to affect your weight gain and your body composition. But calories themselves, the thermic energy, the measurement of, the measurement of how it can raise 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius, that's not actually affecting your metabolism at all, right?
calories you burn in a day, and if you repeatedly intake more than that, you'll gain weight, and if you intake less than that, you'll lose weight. As a quick disclaimer, the exact amount of calories absorbed from food isn't always 100%.
You don't absorb calories at all. That's where he's wrong. So you can use calories as an indication to how much food you're eating, and then how much you should change to alter your body composition. But you're not absorbing calories from food at all. There are no calories that you can absorb in food. There are no calories that you can metabolize. Calories are not where you get your energy.
Which is why some people...
Calories are just a representation of the food you're eating.
...claim calories in, calories out isn't true. But being more exact, calories metabolized and absorbed minus calories burned always is true.
No. False. If you're talking about macronutrients being oxidized into ATP rather than stored, that's a different story. But if you're saying calories burned, calories absorbed, that's inaccurate. You don't absorb calories, you don't burn calories.
Now,
you don't get energy, which converts to or from body mass from calories.
For the average person, the amount of calories burned is around 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day.
Relative to the macronutrients they're eating? Sure, but not calories themselves. That needs to be clear.
Then the generally accepted rule is that there is 3,500 calories in a pound of body fat. So say you wanted to get thick because it's 2019, you would have to eat roughly 500 calories above your daily maintenance for 71 days to gain 10 pounds. Then if we look at the composition of food itself, all food is made up of 3 primary macronutrients.
How am I so smart? I mean, I appreciate it. My dad's IQ was 145. So it's probably genetic. Most things like this are genetic. But, does blood read studies on the daily? How am I so knowledgeable? I do research on the daily, basically. This guy's genuinely a joiner and wears 5-inch height boosters. Dude, if you look at the pictures of me where I'm wearing height boosters at all, it's literally with a group of 5 guys who are all wearing the same or more amount of height boosters. So it's not as if I don't understand why I'm getting singled out for that. Anyway.
Serve a different bodily function, and each has a different caloric value. We have fat, which has 9 calories per gram, protein, which has 4 calories per gram, and carbohydrates, which have 4 calories per gram as well. And then there's a 4th bonus macronutrient, alcohol, which has 7 calories per gram. As for their physiological roles, loosely speaking, fat regulates hormones and stops your cells from imploding. Protein is for bodily function and muscular regeneration. Carbohydrates are primarily for aerobic and anaerobic activity. And then alcohol, which sadly just poisons you.
Yeah, it's not. You don't want to be consuming alcohol. That's something people should not misunderstand from what he meant by the macronutrient.
The good news is that because too much alcohol is toxic, if your friend is passed out in the club bathroom, you can flush out the alcohol by popping a blueberry under their tongue, just like a sensu bean.
Because that was a detox joke, right? Yeah, it's like eat some broccoli. All that sulforaphane is going to trigger NF-kappa beta signaling in the liver to signal for glutathione to raise, and then your liver detox to increase. It's not as if like that's helping you detox from other things other than the broccoli itself.
Below that, we have fiber and micronutrients, which are all your
WQ reference. Alcohol's a nutrient. WQ reference.
vitamins and minerals. Just make sure you get enough of
These. Okay, wait, hold on. Fiber.
popping a blueberry under their tongue, just like a sensu bean. Below that, we have fiber and micronutrients, which
Fiber's not a nutrient. It's not even a non-essential nutrient. It's just not a nutrient at all. It just ferments into aldehydes in the gut, which are reactive glycating and oxidizing chemicals, things that you don't want in your body. Also like formaldehyde and malondialdehyde. And it also cultivates endotoxin and can lead to bacterial overgrowth in the gut. Bro uses buzzwords to sound smart. I'm crying. Name one single buzzword. And micronutrients. Why are you showing a bottle of nutrients? Should be showing like meat, dairy, eggs. You know what I'm saying?
which are all your vitamins and minerals. Just make sure you get enough of these or your teeth will fall out.
Okay.
Now, with these fundamentals in mind, if we start to take a look at all the popular and successful diets out there nowadays, the fact of the matter is that almost all of them have good points, but they also all have bad points. I mean,
An
you're not
optimal, an optimal diet shouldn't have bad points. But there are a lot of like popular diets that have bad points. Somebody said you published 0 papers, co-authored nothing, you're a nobody. Why does that alter my like authority to speak on topics that I've read about? Neither have you. That's silly. That's really silly. The appeal to authority.
member of the nutritional Illuminati just because he stopped eating bread. And if we take a look at all the most common diets that cover the full spectrum of plant-based to animal-based, we can see they all have pros and cons. Veganism is sustainable and very nice to the animals, but
Veganism is sustainable to who? Sustainable to who? What? Not sustainable for humans. Most, like, I'm pretty sure 80% of vegans quit after 3 years. Maybe it's even higher than that. I think it's higher than that. Like 98% of vegans quit after 3 years. How is that sustainable? You're lacking active form of B6, you're lacking B12, you're lacking creatine, taurine, carnosine. You're lacking saturated animal fat, cholesterol. You know, these things that you probably want in your diet, right? And on top of that, let's say you could piece together a vegan diet with supplements and whatnot, and get on paper every single nutrient you're getting. You're also depleting nutrients because of anti-nutrients. You're adding in toxin load from all of the plant toxins, all of the fiber. You know, why would you do a vegan diet? Why? Other than ethical reasons, which you shouldn't be reporting on optimal human health if you're doing it for ethical reasons. But again, humans, like, think about this. With a cow on a farm, that cow's not going to live a better life out in the wild. That cow's going to either starve or get eaten by a predator. It's going to be much more brutal getting eaten by a predator out in the wild than getting, boom, killed like that and then eaten by a human. Living a good life on a farm or living a very stressful life just to die of starvation or get eaten in the wild. That's the choice, right? But it's like moral, sustainable. less carbon emissions. That's mostly factory farming, and it's like a just little piece of the puzzle. Marcus, other primal Australians clown you, bro. You give someone else perspective and pass them offers your own. You're a primal drone. Genuinely, I don't really know primal Australians that clown me, but I don't give someone else's perspective. I know it seems like that, but honestly, my perspective is really like just changed, and it was already changing, like before. Frost made the switch from carbs, like from. I was already thinking about that, and now I realize, like, wow, this is like really, we were really imitating hibernation. That's something I came to on my own. That's the conclusion I came to on my own, of course. We were really imitating hibernation rather than like actually living. You know, I live in Sydney. Yeah, that's public knowledge.
But it's a bit harder to get the right macronutrients, and you constantly have to.
Micronutrients. It's a bit harder, actually. You could get macronutrients, but you would be consuming a lot of polyunsaturated fats, which are less stable than saturated animal fat. You wouldn't be able to get all the micronutrients without supplementing or piecing together random little things from different parts of the world. And then, even if you were to get the bare minimum to be able to sustain and live, why prove to me that you should be eating that over meat? What is the downside to meat over that? Like, ridiculous.
To wonder if your friends don't want you for dinner because of your dietary restrictions or just your personality. Vegetarianism is sustainable and nice to animals, but limited food choices.
Who really cares? It's unoptimal.
Paleo diets are good for weight loss, but again, limited food choice.
Paleo diets, what is that? They've got spinach, some ham, processed ham, hard-boiled eggs, and like some apple. I don't see how that's paleo. Like, if you're going paleo, like, these things didn't exist in Paleolithic times. Not saying that's something you should base your diet around, but that's not paleo. And limited food choice, yeah, you're not eating slop, like, you're eating the foods we're made to eat. Theoretically, like a well-formulated paleo diet, like ancestral diet. I think that's probably going to be the closest to my diet that he's recommending. Anyway,
ketogenic diets.
Ketogenic diets.
Very good for weight loss because it massively regulates blood sugar, which affects cravings and appetite.
Yeah, a lot of people are like over-consuming carbs because they have leptin resistance. Low-carb diets can help with that short term, but there are also side effects.
But it's extremely limiting in terms of food choice.
Yeah, it can get boring.
Not very good for anyone doing anaerobic sports because there are no available carbohydrates.
In the diet, there are in the body, but yeah, it's not good for exercise.
But it's actually not bad if you run ultra marathon. Carnivorous diets, these ones are a bit weird and they're very unsustainable, but very good for weight loss and autoimmune disorders / arthritis.
I think closest to a carnivore with fruit and dairy would be good, other than like these processed meats, spinach, apples, hard-boiled eggs. I think closest to the carnivore diet with some fruit and dairy on top would be the healthiest approach. That steak looks really good as well.
Certain types of depression, and while there have been some pretty miraculous anecdotes, the downside is that it has not been well studied long term.
That's not the downside. You can't study a diet long term and report on health effects accurately and voraciously. That's just not how. Like, you just can't do that with like ethics laws and stuff. You wouldn't be able to do it scientifically. The best you could do is some weak epidemiological study.
And everyone at the restaurant will think you're a serial killer as you peel the breading off your KFC family bucket.
That is not something that I would do. That's retarded. Like, that is retarded. It's still cooked in seed oils. I look good. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
For some reason, the community is also really involved with cryptocurrency.
W.
So if anyone was actually the nutritional Illuminati, this would be it.
How is that anything to do with the Illuminati? I think that working a slave job rather than crypto is more associated with the Illuminati. Well, more associated with the proliferation of the Illuminati rather than being involved in it.
And then finally, the classic if it fits your macros, which means eating whatever you want as long as it fits within a designated calorie limit and matches the amount of protein, fat, and carbohydrates you've allotted. This is common for athletes and people who want to be bodybuilders, but in the 7 years they've been going to the gym, they've only made 2 years worth of progress.
Yeah, it's dumb because you could be consuming totally polyunsaturated fats, pure like absolute slop, full of additives, full of gut disruptors, and then full of like sulforaphane disrupting your thyroid, and it just fits your macros, but your metabolism is horrible, so that's not going to actually, it's not going to have a normal effect on your body composition like it would if you were eating, getting these macros from optimal food sources.
Speaking of the gym, there are also a few misconceptions when it comes to exercise, and one of the most common jokes you hear in weightlifting communities is making fun of people who say, "I'm just looking to tone." Because the only two variables to your physical appearance is the volume of muscle you have and the volume of fat you have.
True.
It's also incredibly difficult to gain muscle. So you'll often hear girls and even guys say, I'm worried that if I start lifting weights, I'll get too big. And unfortunately, the thing is, no matter how much you believe you're an anime protagonist, it just isn't going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Ultimately, there are two main ways of improving your physical health through exercise, which are strength training and cardiovascular training.
Cardiovascular training is pretty bad for you if it's high intensity for a long time. That you've got chronically high cortisol, which is suppressing testosterone via prolactin. It's also suppressing T3 conversion, so your reverse T3 might go up. Then it's also stretching your heart and even causing, I want to say myocardiac fibrosis, but some kind of scar tissue and fibrosis in the heart. Like your fatty acids double bonded. It's W joke.
In other words, how strong is your bod and how strong is your heart and lungs?
It's not about how strong it is about how much stress it can take. That is not like how much distress it can take and how much you stress to adapt to what you're doing. Why should you be training and stressing your heart so much unless it's something that you actually want to practice day to day? You should have an idea of how much cardiovascular activity you want to be able to enjoy without putting your body into stress and getting tired and like falling into lethargy and whatnot. Why should you be doing long marathons and trying to make your heart as strong as possible to be able to be happy and enjoy life? I can understand strength training to some extent because doing physical activity, your cortisol and adrenaline is going to be lower on average. That stress on your body is going to be less on average if you're adapted to that. Same with running. If you're going to be running every day, but why should you be running every day thinking that's making you healthier? It's not making you healthier unless you have to be running every day. Capiche?
And while even 30 minutes to an hour of walking a day is enough,
Walking is good because you have to walk everywhere.
to make sure everything keeps working, further training at the gym is not only a good idea, it's a lifestyle. Where you can lift a heavy thing now so you can be in pain for a while and then lift a slightly heavier thing
See, that cycle is not healthy.
later, or ski on the elliptical until exhaustion so that once your heart eventually recovers, you'll have more love to give.
Okay. Pretty shit video. Just appealing to normies. But, I think I gave some good perspectives on that. Yeah, rip David Goggins' heart. David Goggins is not someone that's optimally healthy, especially cardiovascular health. Wrestling every day bad? No, if you enjoy wrestling, that's good, bro. Like, do it. Like, if you have good recovery and shit, that's good. Okay. But guys, this is for the YouTube video, not for the stream. If you guys are interested in fixing your health, I do have a school community you can join. It's around like half price at the moment because I'm restructuring a few of the guys, but I'm still active in there. I'm still posting educational content in the feed, and I'm still interacting with you guys, responding to messages, etc. So if you guys are interested in that, you can click the link in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Now I'm on stream, so I'm going to play Fortnite. Okay, let's do that. Boys, we're going to play Fortnite, okay? We're going to do Fortnite. I'm going to be really bad because I haven't played in hella long. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I have a headache though, so I'm going to go get some orange juice, or like some juice, quickly. But then after that, I'm going to play Fortnite. GeForce. Okay, boys. Just BRB, don't leave chat. Alright boys, Fortnite time. But there are apparently like 12 people ahead of me, so I might as well just reuse some. What is juice for headaches? I'm probably just dehydrated, that's all. You feel me? Okay, there's Fortnite. Huh. You guys can see my GeForce username. Dude, I was driving home the other night and someone fucking pulled up next to me and said my name. It was so creepy. Alright, let's watch this stupid ad while we wait for people. How many people in front of me? 12. Okay. Yeah, I'm on GeForce because I have a Mac. You can't play through Epic Games on Mac. I've been spamming this juice. It's impressed. Cold pressed juice. Keeps like, you know, some polyphenols which might help with endotoxin. Keeps all of the minerals and shit. Actually, pasteurization doesn't affect the minerals. Still, it's good. Tastes better. There are less, like, there are some byproducts of sugar caramelization. Oh, it's loading. Okay, nice. The lag is going to be horrendous. On the stream or on my computer, I don't know. Install Linux to play Mac games. Dude, I can just use GeForce though. It's honestly better. Alright boys, here we go. Fortnite gamer. You feel me? This is now a gaming channel. Let's see. Reload solos. Ranked off, build. Yeah, I do have, wait. I do have 1 ping. That's chill. I usually have 0 because I play on Ethernet. But now I have 1 probably because of the stream. Where's the chat? Here. A gold queue is oxalate, something to worry about now. Dude, compared to like spinach, no. The oxalates in fruits are gonna be like only something you should worry about if you have really like severe autoimmune issues. But the little amounts in like different fruits, the variation is not gonna be an issue if you're basing your diet around meat and fat and like milk. If you were to have like 4 gold kiwis a day, then possibly. But probably not, other than like one a day, like 1 a day for a week, and you stop, you know. For someone with really bad gut issues that haven't healed yet, I would tell them to cut it out. But for someone who's mostly healed or just trying to maintain, just chill, bro, just chill. Even like oxalates and potatoes would be fine. Call Big Q. Big Q's sleeping, bro. I was on call with him before. Yeah, I do have some frame drops actually. The lag might be pretty atrocious. Yeah, you guys saw that. Every time I shoot, I have frame drops. Fuck. I need to retrain my sensitivity because I haven't played in like 2 years, right? Until like 2 days ago. Makeup maxing? I don't wear makeup unless I go out to the club, which I don't really do. Like, I don't wear it in my videos or anything. Like some people. How much milk do I drink per day? When I have fresh milk, a liter at least. Oh, what the hell? You can aim? This is so bullshit. Okay, spotty connection, yeah, ping. You guys were right. Playing on a laptop? Yeah, but I have a monitor. I need to get a display port to USB-C port so that I can use my 144 Hz monitor. Because my board, the hub, only supports 60 Hz. So I'm playing on 60 Hz right now. And with hella lag. Mad bots? Yeah, dude, my entire lobby is bots because I'm really bad. I haven't played in a minute. Oh, dude, look at that lag, bro. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, dude, the lag's unplayable almost. This is a bot. Oh, fuck, dude. I have no mats. Dude, you guys saw that lag, right? Like, there's no point in me even, like, trying to... Oh! Oh, dude, the lag! Look, my stream's frozen, bro, like... Look at this lag, dude. Holy shit, a bot is killing me. I'm getting killed by bots because of this lag. This guy is a bot, but still, he can't even hit me. He's so shit, dude. He's so bad. Let me get a slap truck. player, bro. Honestly, he didn't a single shot on me. You guys fuck with me for that? Oh, dude, yeah. That's not what I meant to do at all. Nah, I'm not playing on micro, it's just this because of the stream, bro. Dude, that guy missed like so many shots on me. That was like crazy. I'm so lucky to be alive right now. And then I got the slap drop as well. So good. That would be prime the clutch. You would have been such a good hunter. Keep that there. Oh. See someone over there. We go into this tree. That's the same guy that I just was fighting. Oh yeah. Like I have not enough space on my desk to fucking. Dude, on my screen I literally got that wall, but anyway. Like I don't have enough space on my mouse. Oh, in terms of binding the middles when you have one mistake? No, that's chill. Probably just chilling out. Oh, that's a different guy. What the hell? Dude, these people like can't even fight. I'm not even worried when they have high ground. Like they get high ground, they don't know what to do, so I'll just wait for them to shoot at me. Look at this guy. He's literally just sitting in his box. Like he's just going up higher because he can't do anything. Oh, and then I have lag when I shoot. Like, oh my god, it's still lagging. I can't even do anything. I can't even move my mouse. It's frozen. Yeah. Holy crap. You know, like sniped out of the air. Fully boxed? Wow. Okay. That's literally spiked with insulin? Oh really? Okay, now I'm getting shot out there for no reason. Like, you're not gonna kill me. You're literally not gonna kill me after I spawn. Let me get this supply drop. That's good. I just timed that so badly. I have no ammo left. Give me that shit. By the way guys, I don't think this game in like a year and a half, so it's really bad. Marcus Figure, I love you, send me a friend request. Alright, bro. That's a bot. Holy crap. I want one of those other ARs, they don't this shit. Or whatever. Dude, this metal's like boxing me in so hard. The thing is, this guy doesn't know I'm in here. Game ending in 5 seconds. Dude, what? That's all the time I have to play? GeForce is tripping, dude, I swear. Alright, bro, that's a wrap. It wants me to load it again. Why did it? I'm adding more playtime. I'm out of playtime, boys. How much playtime do I get? Ultimate trial. 100 hours with 10 hours rollover. As if. I haven't played 100 hours. What? Bro. Anyway. Alright, boys. Probably end stream. I'm gonna record another video today. Actually go out and do something in my life too. Get some natural light. Although it's very cloudy, so I'm not gonna sunbathe. It's also cold. It's like 16 degrees. Grown man time. Bro! It's my GeForce like membership. Tripping. Alright. How many people are in chat? Oh, dude, I reviewed this woman, Dr. Boz, and at Bosworth. It was like a video, what they don't tell you about keto, and it was like some fake testimonial. Literally some fake testimonial, about this woman on keto, and it just, none of it makes sense, and she never even showed the woman she was talking about. Like, clearly fake. Dude, 500 mils of juice already? No, probably 450. This shit's so good. Apple, strawberry. Like, it's not organic, so it's not optimal. Like, this is gonna be, like... This is not gonna be optimal for my acne. But, in terms of sugar content, this is very good. Because, if I'm eating fruit, I also have fiber. That's gonna make me bloated. This doesn't make me bloated. Like if I'm gonna get as much sugar as I can get from fruit, that fiber is probably gonna make me bloated to at least some extent. So I'd rather have this than like 50 organic fruits in a day. But if I could get organic juice, then yeah, I would. Is soda healthy? Like regular soda from the store? No, most of it's high fructose corn syrup. Is kombucha healthy? It does have a little alcohol in it. Probably not that like enough to make you notice any difference. But kombucha is probably pretty low sugar. The only concern would be the additives. Harmless harvest coconut water, not in Australia. As far as I know. I've never found it. But the coconut water from the store is good. It's just not that high sugar. It's just not very high in sugar at all compared to juice. Hop on Omi TV. Oh, dude, that's like so draining, bro. If I want to see a bunch of India guys beat off, I'll just go into Parramatta. Coke and Pepsi are unhealthy. No. Yeah, I'm ending stream. Marcus doesn't know what class is.